New Zealand making their way now out from their line. Coming up towards the 20-metre mark, and there's some great play towards the sideline, obviously, with that sub-box interchange, number 10 there. Bailey Wardbury just bringing the attack forward again there for New Zealand. Tuta there, a handover and changeover again. Simon Lang to play it with Jaden Benbar at half. Australia now surges upfield with Jaden Benbar. Another interchange box away on the far left touchline, and Australia, has to be said, very, very slow out of the blocks.
Could be right. It's uncharacteristic for Australia to be so slow and let New Zealand slip away with 3 touchdowns. I remember the last time this happened was Scotland at the World Cup, when New Zealand got 3 tries up. But once again, Australia came back and took that title in 2012, 11 it was.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was a fantastic win back then, but Dylan Thompson and Springfield there just getting a bit mixed up there, unfortunately, just 5 metres out, and it's New Zealand again, just making their way out of trouble.
Yeah, a little bit scrambly there, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's New Zealand again making their way to half-time. Mackenzie Hoare has been everywhere and causing a real headache for the Australian defence. They're through again here, would you believe, with Mark Hodgson. Is anyone there with him? They sure are. 4-0. Oh, my apologies. They've found, I think it's certainly a push, actually. The referee, Cameron McDonald-Peterson, has found, and so Australia get out of trouble there. Could have very been looking at staring down 4 times, and here's Kim Skelly with a repeat penalty.
Yeah, very lucky there. I'm not too sure if the New Zealanders had to do a push off there. Let's have a look at it again. Mr. Consistent through the gap, looking for someone to be free.
Oh, just looking at the replay, but it's really not very clear to see what's actually happening.
Yeah, there must be something further back.
So it's...
But put it this way, the referees are on the mark. In normal games, it's really hard to pick up that off-the-ball play because you're so focused on around the ball to pick up anything off the ball. So they've done really well in that situation.
This is the real danger man for New Zealand here. Michael Singh gets it to Dylan Thompson. Dylan Thompson will set up. He has Trent to 5-10 metres out to the right. Dylan Thompson from half tries to pick up Singh again for a double phase play. They should score out here, but that pass again just too high and wide.
Once again, Nicole Drummond, outstanding in defence, being able to read, coming in tight, and then flowing out on the second phase to get out there and put pressure on the winger.
Yeah, New Zealand, they've can earn a well-earned breather just right now as they come off their line. It's Mackenzie Hoare again, just making his way towards the sideline. They've actually managed this sub-box interchange very well, New Zealand, I have to say. 3 touches, 4 touches to get to there is outstanding. They're really surging upfield here now at the moment with Robinson Bartlett now setting up again. Robinson Bartlett down, gets it down. Osborne's through again. That is probably just about gone dead. It looks like there's been just a little bit of a fumble there. So, again, New Zealand just making I've got all the run of play here this morning. It's just quite an incredible start. 3-0 up, and Australia really on their heels. Stop in play here from Kim Skelly. I'm not sure. It must be a ball out of play here, but yeah, George, it's you've got to say it's a mighty impressive start from New Zealand.
Well, it's the start they needed. This is the start they needed in test number 2 and maybe even number 1. These young players, we're looking at 10 debutants in the New Zealand team, and they've obviously found their rhythm now. They've started strong, and they're just coming back. They're hurting from today's loss in the last few seconds. So they want to prove that they've got the goods to take a title. Yeah, George, another error, uncharacteristic, you have to say, but Australia's really out of sorts here, it seems. Simon Lang just drifted in on to the field from the sub-box. It's New Zealand coming through here now. Number 10 causing all major headaches, Wardby, but it's a penalty in New Zealand. Yeah, Simon Lang just coming in to try to sort of calm the troops down a little bit because it just looks a little bit tense. New Zealand. Yeah, it's good to see Woodby start the game how he did yesterday. He was electric in the first 5 minutes, and now he's starting game 3 exactly the same way. Takarai draws another penalty. Ref taps his lips, so I'm guessing there must have been some say there, or perhaps, yep. Woodby down again. Woodby looking, searching for that 4th try. Down to Takarai. The captain down here now for Wardby, and away goes to Takarai again. Just trying to draw out the middle defender from Australia.
Tekerai down. It's reasonably good defence there from Australia, but looks like they've drawn the actual penalty too, so that was pretty good from Adam Pride. Just aimed up a little bit more and just squared up, I guess, the New Zealand attacker there, George, off their line, Australia.
Yeah, sure. It was a simple mistake. You got to be strong in that ruck, and Wiremu wouldn't be happy with that one. You could see it in his face. He took the foot off the throat there for Australia.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion out there for Australia, but away they go with through Jaden Benbow down inside. Benbow from half now. Him and Springfield will try to start to get a combination, no doubt. Springfield from half.
Oh, a little backspin on the ground by Takade.
Picks up Jaden Benbow.
Going through.
The fantastic try there to Jaden Benbow. He's been outstanding for...
You caught it, Julian. Those two boys putting it together from dummy half. Wiremu just doing a little bit of breakdancing there. It must be a little bit slippery under surface.
Yeah, Jaden Benbow, one of the Queensland Cowboys that tasted success in the Australian Elite 8 series. He's an outstanding prospect for Australia, and him and Springfield form a great little combination. 3-1. So it's 11 minutes in with now 9 to go till half-time as New Zealand again making their way through. Mackenzie Hall causing a lot of trouble again for for Australia's defence.
Opening touchdown to Australia.
Putarangi now.
Number 11, Jaden Benbow.
Mark Hodson and Putarangi now just probing again the Australian defence. Hodson down. Mackenzie Hall. Oh, wow, that's a great ball.
Oh, nice whack pass, right to left.
With that, in fact. That
the pass was beautiful.
Renganui Pukatapu, fantastic. Look at this ball from Mackenzie Hall. Drags in the defender there. The Australian flat-footed, and then, wow, there's no way Patricia Michaelopoulos could make that. That's outstanding at 4-1 in New Zealand.
As good as the ball was, the finish was outstanding. Pukatapu getting low, getting down, making the most of that split second to get the ball down and get a touchdown for Touch New Zealand.
Yeah, wow. 4-1 New Zealand. It's not exactly the result Australia were expecting coming into half-time. They'll be looking to make amends. There's still plenty of time, though, in the first half. Michael Singh now draws out Dylan Thompson. That looks to be regulation. I think it's a try. It is to Australia. They snipe back there with a great try there. I think that's Paige Parker. In fact, it was. Yep, she goes over for Australia's number 2. 4-2 New Zealand. This is a bit of a game on now. Here we go here, Michael Singh just drawing out the defender. Dylan Thompson attracting 2 defenders, and there, Paige Parker, a recipient. And look, it's fair to say Dylan Thompson and Springfield and all of these guys in the middle, Jaden Benbow, they will cause headaches for New Zealand. Simon Lang now just takes that touch as it's number 12 there, Autumn Rain Stevens making her way to dummy half again. Autumn Rain Stevens inside to Wardby charging here. It's a great sweep play. They get down low, but Simon Lang has it covered. Very nice defence there from Lang.
Yeah, Mua Tuta, he's like a slippery snake, so you got to be on your toes when it comes to that 5 metre whenever he's
very
around.
Very tall and languid type, isn't he there, George? Fantastic. Well, that ball, just no real control there. Australia lucky to get a reprieve there. Simon Lang now starts to take the Aussies upfield. Making their way now, Australia. Lang from half. Picking up captain Cameron Nichols, I think it is. Oh, no, that's Adam Pride, sorry, making a great surge upfield. Pride again. Oh, I think he's lost that ball, Cole. I think he's drawn out a penalty. In fact, that's quite unlucky there to the Kiwis. Got a real sort of sense there that Adam Pride just didn't have any control of the ball. But anyway, Australia get a reprieve back to captain Cameron Nichols. Into Springfield again with those very distinctive orange boots. Springfield now.
Australia where they need to be on the 5 metre. They haven't had too many opportunities, but when they've been down there, they've been lethal and got a couple of touchdowns. So expect something exciting here.
Wow, that's interesting. That is quite incredible. Let's have a look at that again. Dylan Thompson, very ever aware there. He caught the New Zealand defenders napping there. Not exactly sure what the call was, but watch it here. On the replay, he just realises that the referee's called the touch. Now, calls the penalty, and then Dylan Thompson somehow catches them unawares and scores the try. Can you believe it? Australia struck back to 3-4.
Yeah, it's an interesting one there. The referee must have called the mark very quickly because the New Zealand defender was unaware. He was still not even on the line. So obviously the New Zealand defender wasn't in the right frame of mind where he should have been, or just Dylan was just too quick.
Yeah, Jaden Benbow makes a good touch there. Again, New Zealand. 40 minutes gone, 6 to the break. Now that's quite an interesting point in the game actually here as Cameron Nichols from Australia drives upfield. Australia now trying to make their way through as the ball gets out to Patricia Michaelopoulos from half. Benbow again. He's been instrumental in this comeback from Australia, no question. The captain, Nichols, just calming things a bit, but loses his footing there. Michaelopoulos again. This is really quite unlucky for New Zealand, I have to say. I don't think the Australian there, Adam Pride, had his feet, but somehow they've managed to draw out a Trent Toomer in his last test for Australia.
Let's have a look at this again.
Oh, wow. I just can't see much wrong with that there, George, from the New Zealander.
Well, he didn't go in strong to the ruck. There was a little nudge towards the right there and towards the ground, but falling forward, it's quite hard to fall forward in a penalty offence if you haven't got your feet right.
Here's Toomer. Michael seeing that ball wasn't on, but I tell you what, somehow he's actually drawn a 6 to go here. That was unlucky for Mackenzie Hoare. Didn't need to have his hand there, perhaps you could say. It was a loose pass.
Oh, I saw the white line down the other end, or say the red line down the other end, so he gave it a go.
Well, something's gone amiss here. Trent Toomer needs to give that ball back. I'm not sure exactly what's happened. He didn't play it in the regulation time by the looks from the ref.
Regulation time, regulation spot, whatever it was. New Zealand now hot on the trot.
Is there a shot clock now on the actual playing ball there, George? Well, again, it's quite interesting to see how this match has turned on its head a little bit here. Ellen Mortimer goes into dummy half.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a circus out there with the basics. What's going on? The referee's obviously tighter or looser on certain areas, which is having an influence on the players out there.
Australia certainly warming to the task, no question now. Catherine Stevens off to Lang. Just trying to get a little bit of set with their numbers here. It looks like there's going to be a rehearsed play coming up. Australia trying to sort of draw a defender up. Trent Toomer makes a great play there. Simon Lang, Dylan Thompson again.
Oh, Dylan Thompson.
Just ran out of room.
Robertson Bartlett there to cover Dylan Thompson.
Dylan Thompson, great inside ball, outside ball. Oh, my goodness. He's called it forward. Simon Lang didn't really have the best of that pass. It just seemed to slip out of his hand as he threw it to Michaelopoulos.
You're having a look at that. Michaelopoulos looks like she's playing on the wing today. Would that be correct?
That's right, mate. Yeah, normally she does play in the link position. She's traditional winger, though, I think, in the mixed format, but she's actually been rewarded for a lot of her great efforts to come into the link. But certainly, it's getting a bit testy out there for the...
Let's have a look.
Ellen Mortimer got in a bit of a tangle there with the New Zealand attacker, and certainly wasn't impressed with how...
she don't give an inch, that girl.
Yeah. No quarter given from these Australian girls, it's fair to say. They understand they've got to really step up in this mixed format. Play tough and strong. Simon Lang now, Springfield, Lang and Springfield. Little 1-2, and Springfield looks to get that down, but no, great touch there for number 2 and Captain Tekare.
Let's go back to Mortimer. Is the word on the street that she's got some martial arts about it? Is that correct?
Oh, gee, that was very close there. Just looking at that, Springfield's having a good look at that from we saw on the replay. Not much in that, but yes, that's right. That's Michaelopoulos and Mortimer and a few of the girls. They get into a lot of CrossFit action back home in Australia, and certainly Springfield now. Benbow, he's causing a lot of drama, and my goodness, what a player. Springfield and Benbow are causing a lot of headaches. I'm sorry. Definitely Jad and Benbow. I'm so sorry. Yep, Springfield and Benbow together there. Again, striking back very well, and that's quite an impressive comeback, I've got to say, from the Aussies. 4-all to draw level. Quite impressive. And New Zealand, they got to probably scratch their head a little bit here as to just how they might reply.
Fantastic start by New Zealand. Australia have come back. New Zealand have actually just allowed them to come back. There's been quite a few mistakes and quite a few simple tries, to be honest.
That's a great touch. Cameron Nichols is so strong there in defence there, and I think he got some good supports. But Mackenzie Hoare diving in very, very low, sliding close to the line. That must have been close. Number 7,
Hodson from dummy half, going short side, goes back in, gets through, breaks the line, but unfortunately can't get to a player.
I've lost count already how many times Mark Hodson slipped through. That's outstanding play from him. He's causing a real drama for the Australian defence. Watching go left and then comes right. Just has the ball just a little loose, unfortunately. So it's only 30 seconds now to the break. As Dylan Thompson, Australia will be really, really keen to get down. They don't really know. Oh, dear. Toomer and Thompson just trying to sort of work the numbers on that left flank to no avail. It's fair to say Kim Skelly has been consistent, no doubt. I mean, he's found some fault in the Australian defence, and New Zealand now start to see if they can get the right of reply before half-time. And that draws us to the half-time break, and it's been an outstanding start here to day 3. The mixed Australian and New Zealand score there. Have a look at that. 4-all. Fair to say, though, that the New Zealanders had all the run of play early on, getting down to a 3-0 lead. Australia struck back well, and certainly both teams will come back. You know, the ledger squared, but I think certainly, and seems to me that the Australians are actually starting to find some feet, and the New Zealand now will actually look to themselves and have a great chat at half-time. Steve down on the sideline, Steve Roberts down on the sideline. How do you see it there, mate? It's quite an incredible comeback from Australia. Steve, pick up my cross, guys. So we'll go to the highlights now as Steve just has a little technical issue on the sideline. He's just looking to address, but we'll get his views early. But certainly, George, it was quite an outstanding half. 8 tries in all. It was very, very exciting, if you have to say, just the way that New Zealand set up. And here they are again. Here's the replays of the tries. The first one, no, I think it's just looking at the highlights, sorry, from the first half here. Mackenzie Hoare, he's been so damaging for Australia early on. This was his first. It was a great set up there, and then obviously a split play. But then, as you see here with New Zealand, they just really had Australia very cold to come out of the blocks this morning, no doubt about it. But there he is again, Mark Hodson. He's been outstanding for New Zealand. Picks up 3, and I don't think at that time Australia knew what the hell was happening. Mark Hodson again, slips through from dummy half. He was good throughout. Mackenzie Hoare could have been the recipient inside, but it was the winger that time that actually picked it up. And this is the start of the Australian comeback. They actually did strike back well. Springfield, Benbow, and fair to say, Thompson were just instrumental in all of that, but Benbow going over for Australia's first. Mackenzie Hoare, what a great ball that was, just out wide to Pukatapu. Here it was, Trent Turner setting up great there for Dylan Thompson, and again, Australia looking through, it was at that time Paige Parker going over. And here he is again, Dylan Thompson. He's been probably one of the best players, caught the New Zealanders on their heels, scoring a very sneaky try. Springfield with that sweep play. Springfield back to Benbow, and Benbow again goes over. What a great half from both those players. Yeah, so the Australians in the huddle there, obviously they're fairly intent to hear from coaches Mick Lovett and certainly Justin Crichton and David Nolan, just to try to understand exactly what happened in those first 3 touchdowns. Michael Lovett's pretty animated there to his troops, just trying to understand exactly how it was that Hodson and Hoare, Mackenzie Hoare, were causing so many dramas there for the defence. They were hemorrhaging early, it's fair to say.
You're saying that Michael Lovett will be quite ecstatic in the sense that it's 4-all because, let's to say, it was an average start by Australia. New Zealand getting up 3 touchdowns to 0, then getting up another one, and then Australia managed to come back from capitalising on a few errors by New Zealand, and before you know it's 4 apiece going into the halftime break. Looking into it, 5, 7 minutes, 8 minutes into the game, you'd think, my God, this is going to be a whitewash by New Zealand.
Yeah, absolutely, and Australia's very aware of the blackwash. In fact, we often see, when we come to New Zealand, it's very hard to win here on these shores, and whilst we take the other games away, certainly it's a series victory to Australia already, but certainly this is very important to Australia to get through with a clean sheet. I can guarantee you that they won't be happy with that start, but certainly the comeback's going to be, it puts them in good stead, and I think has them reasonably happy.
Yeah, Julian, you're always around these Australian teams and you know these players personally. So in the sense of what the coach would have said to these players at halftime, what are you thinking?
I think it's just being more direct and just, tidy up all those mistakes. I think that in Game 2 there was a lot of mistakes starting to creep in. It was an unconvincing win to Australia, it's fair to say, 4-3 in Game 2. That certainly is of issue, to the team. But, I've got to say too that, post-game, Michael Lovett was very glowing in terms of his feedback on the New Zealand mixed team. he felt that they were actually really developing and shaping well for the 2019 World Cup, albeit, you know, 4 years out, 3 years out now, sorry. But certainly that's the instruction they've got now, is to play more direct, get it upfield, and actually try to put a lot more pressure on the New Zealand medals.
Here we go, back into the action. Australia picked up the pace from the first half, so they've obviously hit another gear. They've got a bullet up their backside, ready for some action. So they ended well in the first half, and they started well in the second half to go. Fresh set of 6, attacking the New Zealand touchdown line.
Springfield and Thompson already. Look at that. Springfield and Thompson didn't have to do too much there. He just wrong-footed, or actually had the actual New Zealand defence flat-footed. Watch this again. Thompson just sets up. It's just a quickie play that the Australians like to play, but he just stops. The defender just came up with nothing, clean air, and unfortunately for Robinson Bartlett, it was Thompson that dived down low, and Australia get out to
yeah, you can see the face of Atawhai Osborne there. He wouldn't be happy with that one. It was a touch by Robinson Bartlett to work towards the corner, so he was expecting Atawhai Osborne to be underneath him in that situation. But he manned up slightly, and the expertise of Dylan Thompson took advantage of that and managed to get underneath.
Yeah, and that, if you asked there previously, George, what the coach would be asking for, he would have been looking for an immediate strike back, and that's exactly what he asked of his charges, and they delivered, which is great. It's New Zealand now, number 10, making it back. Some really, really good late switches here. That's a good knockdown there, I think, from James Blackwood, just saving the day. There's New Zealand really putting a lot of pressure on the Australian defence once again.
So 22 minutes into this game, for the first time, Australia taking the lead by a very dominant New Zealand team. All of a sudden, it's all not black and gold, it's the wrong one, gold and green.
Well, it is when we're Anzacs, mate, absolutely. So Takatai just getting close there, the captain, but he'll play at 5 out now. It's Takatai again, and Muatuta actually combining very, very well here midfield. But the Takatai again, the captain, as he gets down there close. Long ball there from Wardby. Picking up Muatuta, looking for a little dive over, but back inside to Wardby, he plays it. Wardby now trying to draw the Australian defence out. There's a good plant there on Benbow there, the defender. And not a problem at all there for the captain, Cameron Nichols, as we...
Yeah, beautiful read by Australia. The team were well oiled there on defence, and obviously did their homework, and we're all in sync, all in the right place at the right time. New Zealand had no answers in that situation.
Yeah, that's Stevens getting it down for Australia now as Toomer makes it close. Australia now through Michael Singh now and Trent Toomer making their way downfield. Steve Roberts, the ex-Australian men's open captain. How do you see this unfolding? Obviously just the ball just going awry there. New Zealand make their way out. How do you see it, Steve?
Can't hear you, Steve. Okay, back to the game. We still got a little bit of technical difficulty there with Stevie coming online. Otherwise, he's just speechless, well, because Australian have done so well to come back in this game.
So that's Hodson again, and Mackenzie Hall combining well there. Unfortunately, it's to no avail as New Zealand trying to press the Australian line, but it's again Catherine Stevens. No, she's cut it away from her. Patricia Megalopoulos gets it to Singh, and it's uncomfortable. I think that it's fair to say that touch for him. He was cramped up a little bit too much. In fact, there from Michael Singh, the number 5. Australia draw out the penalty, so it's now Simon Lang who will make his way out close to the halfway. In fact, it'd be straight on halfway. So there it is there. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but Mackenzie Hoare and Singh came to get into a little bit of a tangle here as Dylan Thompson makes up field with Springfield from half. Picking up Lang on the surge, 5 out. He'd be looking to draw them in again. Getting it down there for Springfield. A sweep play was on, but New Zealand has found some fault, and there's a bit of back chat there from the Aussies. Unfortunately, this could cost them here a little bit. Oh, I've got that a little wrong. My apologies. In fact, it was the penalty to Australia. I thought that the commentary must have been an assist from the sideline. There's Thompson going hard for the line. It's a great touch again there from Mark Hodson. I did think there that there was an indiscretion from the Australians in back chatting, but I think certainly the other refs saw an indiscretion there from New Zealand. So it's now Australia looking to try to sort of push out to 2, and that's a great ball to Simon Lang. He gets down low. It's a great touch though from the number 12. Fantastic there from Autumn Rain Stevens. Really good diving touch there towards the sideline. She did very, very well. Mortimer from dummy half picks up Lang. Out to Springfield midfield. Now down to Lang again. It's Dylan Thompson on the sweep. And it's to Springfield and Simon Lang. What a great setup play. Left to right. Springfield, Thompson and Lang. What a combination there proving. And Australia somehow blow out now to a 2-try lead. There's to Springfield. Back inside to Lang.
And the Australians
Just got the ball down, slipping from his grasp a little bit. I'm pretty sure he got the downward pressure, and that's a great try to 19, Simon Lang. Really, really good setup play. And again, Dylan Thompson causing major headaches there with Springfield with the New Zealand midfield defence. Benbow in defence, very, very strong and getting down low. That time's Cameron Nichols. They're tight, they're low, and they're organised now, the Australians. It was a bit of a wake-up call early on, no doubt, to the Aussies. And it's now New Zealand looking for answers. It's a great reverse. Dear. Late switch coming back. Robinson Bartlett just couldn't quite get the hands in sync, and it's Benbow now 5 out with the captain at half, and it's Benbow surging upfield. Catherine Stevens making her way there. Cameron Nichols from half picking up Ellen Mortimer. She's been strong throughout, really holding up that right flank very well for Australia and scoring plenty of tries. Michael Singh now, they're actually at the back of the defence here now. This is going to cause some headaches. Oh, if that ball goes to hand with Adam Pride, that would have been another try, I'm sure, out wide to Mortimer. George, early on, and it's plenty of time in this match, but what a New Zealand look at from here.
Yeah, those basic errors have been vital in the sense of letting Australia back in the game. They haven't picked up the pace like they did in the first half. That start for the first 10 minutes was outstanding. The coach would have put a rocket up them and said, we need to get back to that game plan, pick up the speed, and just finishing is the key here.
Yeah, well, New Zealand now 10 out, starting to look for...
And this is an opportunity for New Zealand to get back in the game. They've got a fresh set of 6 on the 5-metre line where these young players are very lethal.
Yeah, absolutely. They drew out a nice penalty there, actually, from sustained pressure, you have to say. The Australian line starting to feel 5 minutes out. It was a great touch from Pride there. Back inside now, again, causing headaches again. Muatuta. Good touch from Michael Singh from Australia there. Muatuta to Wardby now, and Muatuta is causing some pressure for Australia. The captain gets it down, but Kim Skelly's found another fault there. Must have not retreated in defence, I would think, getting back to the line.
Yeah, I think they retreated too early there in the rolling position, eh?
Yep, Takarai gets it down. Muatuta, Takarai sees the touch, and that's a very good touch from Michael Singh from the Gold Coast in Australia. Very good.
And I wouldn't question the referee on that one. Did you see his positioning? He was there, eyes on the ball, nice and low, so he can make the best decision.
Yeah, indeed. Muatuta to Takarai. Wardby on the sweep.
Wardby on the back door.
Takarai, they're trying to find something.
Nice second phase.
Play might do it. Trying to find extra hole. Takarai finds the phase play.
Third phase.
Got to score here, New Zealand, they do.
Have to.
Autumn Rain Stevens, wonderful try, great lead up, double phase play on Australia. They just couldn't scurry enough. And George, how do you see this from here?
I'll tell you what, this is something we saw in the Australian men's last night. Second phase, triple phase, that's where they're lethal. New Zealand seemed to come up with one, and it was going to be an easy try on that third phase play.
It was a valiant effort from the wingers, Zara and Nicholas, although it was just near impossible to combat that double phase play. And it's Dylan Thompson now, won the deficit. This is a hell of a game unfolding by the looks here, George.
Yeah, sure. Let's go back to the try scorer. Who was the one in that one?
It was number 12, Autumn Rain Stevens.
Autumn Rain Stevens. Her dad, Mike Daly, past New Zealand coach, past New Zealand player, will be very happy with that one.
Great touch out there, out wide. Michaelopoulos just not quite getting through. Back to Dylan Thompson, Springfield. Here's danger signs for New Zealand with these two together. Thompson takes off from half. It's late, it's delayed, and it's actually forward, I think. I think that Cameron McDonald-Peterson, the ref, makes a good call as New Zealand.
Well, you caught it there, Julian. It was a forward pass.
Yeah, he just held on to it a little bit too long there, perhaps. You know, nearly snuck it through. If he'd got it through as the first choice that I think he was looking for, he might have got it through. So New Zealand making their way over halfway. Robertson Bartlett now starts to get some real pressure with a fantastic ball out wide, but again, a loose ball. Michaelopoulos there on the ready.
Can you hear me, gentlemen?
Yeah, they managed to pick up the pace there a little bit with regards to yardage play, which put them in a platform going forward.
I'll cross now to ex-Australian captain Steve Roberts, who's joined us on the sideline. And yeah, Steve, just a fantastic comeback from Australia, it's fair to say. But obviously things are tight here with one try in it.
Yeah, very tight. New Zealand got out to a great lead, but a few mistakes late in the first half, and allowed Australia to get back in. Here we go, Cameron Nicholas scooping through. For a 6 again. Yeah, I don't think the New Zealand coach would have been too happy with the mistakes towards the back end, but I think Georgie called it early. It's very slippery on the foot, so the passing and everything's not sticking as clean as it was in the previous 2 test matches.
Springfield, Lang and certainly Thompson causing major headaches. That's the captain this time. Cameron Nichols diving low. They're causing major headaches down there, aren't they, Steve? It's fair to say.
Yes, definitely, and that's where it's not going to be a long passing game. It's just going to be all short and the quickies and the sweepers, so the defence has got to be tight.
Yeah, so it's Benbow now, looking for Cameron Nichols, back to Benbow. Ellen Mortimer, great inside ball. Probably just a little too far from the line there for James Blackwood to stretch out, but they're still with a couple of touches up their sleeve.
Looking long with that flick in.
Yeah, it's a great diving touch there too, Autumn Stevens, no doubt about it. But Australia now surrender possession, and New Zealand, how do you see it from here for New Zealand, Steve? Yeah, so George, New Zealand really are starting to put some pressure again back on, getting upfield pretty easily over half weight. It's fair to say, Takatai, the captain, making it Miota Tuta, and now it's back to Wardby. These two together are proving very, very elusive and tough for Australia.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Wardby can't handle it. Blackwood to play it for Australia.
The LP pass not quite going to hand on that occasion. If that went to hand, we could have had a drawing game on our hands.
Now that is an outstanding take there. I think it was the captain, the captain Cameron Nichols. He's outstretched arm to try to save that one from Blackwood. It's Lang now. Lang's got a
Lang.
He's gone straight around the water. Fantastic interchange transition. He's come straight from the sub box. Long sweeping play up the back from Trent Toomer, and it's Lang now. What a fantastic try there to Australia.
Yeah, Lang getting a double. It's been outstanding so far on attack. Let's have a look at that again. Hits the hole in between the wing and the link. The wing not sure what to do, stays out on him, man, opens it up. Lang, too much pace, dots down for his second.
Yeah, somehow found his way between the two girls, which gave him a little bit more momentum, I guess it's fair to say. But Lang has been strong throughout. And fair to say, though, that transition out of the box was outstanding.
And that's what it all comes down to, right? If you got good yards through the box area, then you can finish off nice and easy. Going back to Lang, he's been outstanding on defence, so I'm calling him as probably a key man on defence. Would that be right?
Yeah.
Long arms, long extensions, and there hasn't been many tries, if any, in his part of the field.
Yeah, indeed. He's originally from Mudgee, where the last Trans Tasman series was held in Australia in 2014, Simon Lang, but now resides in Manly in Australia, in Sydney. And certainly, he's really refined his game over recent years, from the World Cup experience. Australia now through Springfield, actually just juggling that now. It's Thompson and Springfield. And a poke down to inside. That ball really wasn't on, but I think they're obviously going to try to manage a sub-box change here, but I think it's Mackenzie Hoare now makes it away. He's been a little quiet in the second half. If Mackenzie Hoare, and I think certainly, the medals for the New Zealand team, if they can actually start to get a little bit more involved, they'll cause some trouble for Australia's defence. The referee's seen something there. It looks as if it's drifted forward. Take us through this here from Steve at halfway. What's Australia looking to set up for?
Oh, I think it'll be Dean Springfield. I think they'll get it in middle dump for Dean Springfield to take someone on in the middle.
Certainly with the combination that he's forming there with Dylan Thompson and Simon Lang. I know we're repeating ourselves a little, but Cameron Nichols too. It's been pretty effective at Springfield now, as you say, Steve. Great long ball. And Patricia Mikalopoulos. The referee likes it. Kim Skelly's going to award this. What a fantastic pass and try to Patricia Mikalopoulos. She's been prolific with the try scoring. Australia breaks out again with another great try. Well called, Steve. I think it's Springfield and those orange boots very instrumental in that try, and certainly he is causing some headaches. And a great left to right ball, it's fair to say, off balance to Michaelopoulos, Steve.
Especially in the wet, he didn't really have the ball properly in his hands, so it wasn't the prettiest of pass, but it got the job done.
Yeah, now it's Wardby and Takatai, back to Takatai, the captain. It's a good touch there from, I think it's Blackwood again, but in fact, Blackwood was turned in defence there, but it was a great touch. It was, yep. It's Australian out, Wardby at half. Takatai, the captain now.
Has a little dare from dummy half there. We're coming down to the final 5 minutes, and if we get an update of the score, we're looking at a 5-8 deficit to Australia.
Yeah, Australia now pushing out to 3, which is going to give them a little bit of a buffer, but they won't be happy with that as Lang just drives over halfway now, and it's away from Michaelopoulos, and the girls starting to find their feet. A bit more confidence now as Tuma. Been relatively quiet, but he might actually start to warm to the task now. Tuma 5 metres out, setting up here with Michael Singh. Just trying to draw that middle defender. I think it's Takarai out, and Tuma gets down. It is. Yep, and it's now back to Lang. Sorry, that is Michael Singh. Back to Benbow. It's a change over there. As just seems to be that the Australians actually starting to really get a bit, as they get closer to the line, the combinations are starting to get a bit sharper. But it really is now time with the clock winding down. It's time now for New Zealand to really step up with a try, Steve. It's as they make their way 15 out. What do you see here? Mackenzie Hoare, he's been real trouble for the Australian defence.
He's the...
Oh, tippy toe down the back line there, trying to feed into someone. Doesn't quite connect. 4 minutes to go in the game with 3 tries up to Australia. We've been in this position before, and 3 tries is never enough buffer, right?
Look at Mackenzie Hoare here. He's the field's normally 70 metres. Add 10 for the dead ball. If it went for another 10 metres, he probably would have found someone. He's very quick, this guy. It's amazing his speed actually just off the mark and through. He's done that a lot through the whole series, in fact, and now it's McDonald Peterson that finds a penalty here for New Zealand. Mackenzie Hoare again, 15 out, picks up Hodson.
If New Zealand want to get back into this game, they need an answer about now, because time is becoming short, and there's the answer we asked for. Daniel Morgan Putirangi.
I don't know if Morgan Putirangi has a camera on him from you, George, but that was a very nice message you've just shot down. Steve, you're right there. How did you see this?
Yeah, they needed a hit back, certainly. Georgia called it, and he certainly did that. And rewarded for his efforts throughout the game. Good try.
I must add some magic words there, guys. So next time New Zealand down there, I think I'll say the same thing.
Here comes Australia now, though.
So it's the Captain Nichols.
You're going to do the same thing, Stevie, for the Australian team?
Springfield, and it's over to you now, Steve, to see if exactly you can call it. Well, he did, in fact, call Springfield earlier.
Dylan Thompson to sweep. And then pass back inside.
Nichols, Springfield, sweep from Thompson, as Steve Roberts says, but the defender's there. It's now Thompson brings it out back to the 5. Some instruction from Springfield back to Thompson. It's probably the same sort of play, although it'll be a quickie to the left, back to Thompson, back to Springfield. That play again, left to right, seemed to hang in the air for an eternity. Nichols trying to find something out wide, but can't. Nice place to have the ball for the New Zealanders, though, from the Australian perspective, Steve.
Yeah, definitely have to make it all the way up the field now. But in the first half, this was the New Zealand strength, punching down the middle and taking them on. They've gone away from that a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, some good doubts here by the Touch Blacks mixed team here, getting back into a good position. Once again, I think they need the answer. There's their man, Daniel. Hopefully he's got the intercom on there and he can hear me and pull out another one for New Zealand.
Here's that man again. My God, he's got some slippery feet. Oh, that's a great ball. Wow, that's outstanding.
He has got the intercom on, and he's answered the prayers of New Zealand, getting a touchdown there. Daniel Morgan Putirangi gets a double within in the last 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute.
Cameron Nichols, the captain, valiant dive. He was outstretched, and Bembo the same, you know, but was all to no avail. That was a fantastic lead-up play from Mackenzie Hoare, and then that man again. It was outstanding there from Morgan Putirangi. That draws the scores now to 8-7, so Australia really back to them. Advantage New Zealand in this last few minutes. It's got to be said, with a 3-try deficit, they were really looking down the barrel, but now it's Tuma, Thompson and Lang.
Yeah, having a good look at it down there, Stevie. I see that you've got Phoenix Hunapur Nafor down there on court side with you, having a look at the game, and I'm sure we'll come to him at the end of the game and see what his perspective is on the activity out there.
Wow. Tuma Thompson double, tries to pick up Lang with his customary swan dive up in the corner. But that... Yeah, so now it's Mortimer. Just bring it out. Australia get a penalty 5 metres out. It was really unlucky there. I'm not sure exactly what happened in that top right corner, but Simon Lane looked to be very close. But it was, in fact, full time. That is the siren, and that is the close. Australia, 8-7 victors over New Zealand, who are absolutely valiant. And can you believe it, in this whole mixed series, it's 1 try deficit in each game. That's outstanding effort from New Zealand. But Australia, they'll be very, very pleased with that win, particularly the comeback, George Yonke. It's outstanding effort, though, from both teams.
Outstanding effort there. New Zealand very dominant in the first 12 minutes. Australia had a patch there where they dominated probably for about 15 to 20 minutes. New Zealand coming back in the last 5 to make it nice and tight, taking us to the wire, to the edge of our seats, but not quite enough, running out of time.
Yeah, look, it's just very, very good effort from New Zealand. It's really, really important to understand that that their development over the last couple of years through World Cup, and then obviously the years towards the World Cup, will really have Australia very, very inquisitive as to just how they progress, because they've absolutely witnessed some incredible talent, as we always see from the New Zealand teams, and certainly some real talent emerging through this New Zealand side. It's going to obviously put the coaches, back to their books and the drawing board in a lot of respects to understand exactly how it is they're going to combat them in future years.
That's correct, Junior. They'll have a look back on this, and they'll be happy what they get out of this for the coaches. There's a lot of positive. There's a few things to work on. Everyone will be having their perspective of the game. We've had a lot of people watching this, and we've been very fortunate enough today to have Phoenix Hunapur Nafor watching from courtside down there, or field side. If we can go down to you, Phoenix, how's the mic down there? Can you hear us clearly?
Yeah, mate, I can hear you.
Awesome. We'll try speaking up a little bit, or turning up the mic, because you're a very shy guy, but when you're out in the field you're not too shy because you're very dominant out there. Phoenix Hunapur, New Zealand superstar from the World Cup. You may have seen his highlights package there on YouTube or whatever it be. A star of the future. In the Sevens circuit, playing for Samoa. Give us your take on that game out there for the New Zealand team and the Australian team, Phoenix.
It was a great game out there today there, Georgie. Both sides have a lot of debutants this weekend. I think New Zealand with 11 and Aussie with 8. But both sides played really well this weekend. 3 close games, so New Zealand boys and girls, they kept their heads up. They played well, and they're looking great to move forward for the next couple of years.
Awesome. You know what it's like to be a young boy in the New Zealand team. You were before your time, getting in there very young, and a lot of the country was resting on your shoulders to pull out some of your magic as you do through the system. Last year you had quite a bit of experience. You came to the party, scoring a couple of sensational touchdowns there against Australia. How do you think those debutants were feeling out there today?
I was fortunate enough to play my first cap at 16 in Scotland, but those young fellas out there, they're no younger than I was, and they played really well out there, and they'll be a force to come with, hopefully, if they stick together with the coaching staff and the 16 that they carry through this year.
Yeah, you've got pretty hot feet out there, and I saw a lot of those young players are following your footsteps in that area, and if they get it right, they could be the new Phoenix on the block. Let's go to your Sevens career. You're high profile at the moment. Everyone's talking about you, calling the new Cerebri on the Sevens circuit. You had a great tournament about 3 tournaments ago. No one could stop talking about. How are you finding the Sevens compared to the touch?
Oh, it's pretty similar there, mate, Georgie. It's just as quick, and there's not as much contact, which suits me just as well. But I owe the game a touch quite a lot. So, I've played since I was really young, and they helped me with my court-based skills. So these fellas out there, I understand that there's some good league players and rugby players out there. So the experience up there in the Sevens has been unreal, though. So hopefully, see some more of these touch players out there, and it'll be good.
Yeah, that's great, Phoenix. Julian Buckmaster here, mate. Great to have you join us here today, mate. It's pretty outstanding. Hey, like to see those young Kiwis emerge. They're getting through that and breaking that line very well, and quite easily in a lot of respects too. But yeah, pretty impressive, the Australian comeback. It's fair to say.
Yeah, the Kiwi boys, they're doing well. As per usual, they're sharp on their feet and whatnot. But Aussie's always had a lot of great experience, and with Trent running out there with Singy and Camo, it's a hard side to beat, no matter how many games they've had this weekend. So well done to Aussie this weekend.
Yeah, it's great to see both teams in an embrace there at the moment. On just as the games close down, that's really good to see the spirit of Anzac alive and well in terms of these two teams. They share a lot of history, and certainly that brings everything that's good about Australia and New Zealand encounters to the fore, and it's just wonderful to see that. Have to make a special mention too to the departing Trent Toomer from this team. He's been a stalwart for the Australian team and make-up for several years now. He's played his 18th and final test for Australia today, so well done, Trent. Congratulations on a great career, but certainly that one door closes and certainly another door opens for another young talented player back in home in Australia. So congratulations to him and certainly all that were involved in his development at the West Club in Sydney. So as we get set here, it's going to be quite an impressive match here. We see as the Women's Open teams start to make their way towards the field as the traditional pre-game ceremonies get underway. Phoenix, just as a little bit of a cross, I guess, in terms of in your understanding of the women's teams and just where they come from here after a 6-1 defeat last night at the hands of the Australians. What is it that the New Zealand women need to focus on here today?
As per usual, they just need to punch forward, mate. They've got some good girls once they get down there on the line, with Charlotte Davis and Jean Walker. They're bullet skills, so if they can get the ball into the hands like them and maybe a drive for Jess Mars, hopefully they can open up like they did on Friday night. They lost all third break, last minute scoring drive, obviously, but hopefully the girls put on a good show tonight.
Yeah, certainly they've got their tails up, the Aussies, and they will start to look at this match as quite pivotal for them in terms of where they go next. It's probably not sufficient for them and their new coach Swain Ravelli to just leave it at 2-0. They'll really certainly want to have a clean sheet in terms of this campaign and move away with a 3-0 win. But we understand too, this is very much a development year for New Zealand, as it is Australia, but certainly they'll look to see, Phoenix, that this is the start of the cycle. It's new teams in that cycle that looks ahead to 2019 and Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Yeah, definitely. The girls are fairly young and experienced, so hopefully they stick together as well as the next team and build towards Kuala Lumpur, as you say. But they come up against class side this weekend with Sammy Rogers and Davis running around out there. But so hopefully this will be a good game, better than last night.
Yeah, I think certainly that it's a great chance to make amends, I think, for the New Zealand women's for this match. I think that they know what they're up against with the Australians, and we see referred to yesterday and certainly in news reports around this supposed wall of defence from the Australians. They pride themselves very, very strongly on that. But I know it's certainly with a blemish on the record yesterday of a try against them that was hurt them a little bit, but certainly the New Zealand women's starting to progress and look to be very, very fierce competitors too, and we'll look to see in this game 3 in this series to make amends, no doubt. As we stop now for the national anthems. teams. The Australians now for the Australian Women's Open team today here. So it's number 1, Mariki Watago, the prolific try scorer for Australia. Mia Johnson, number 2. Hannah Dybel for Manly, number 3, joined by quite several members of the Manly setup, and that's Yasmin Meeks, Danielle Davis, and 4 and 5, all Manly players. Elizabeth Campbell, their captain, at number 6. Sammy Hopkins, number 7. Leah Percy from Victoria, number 8. Shelley Davis, sister of Danny, number 9. Number 10, Sammy Rogers, again from that club, Manly, number 11. Emma Sykes, 12. Taylor Clifford, 13. Laura Peaty, 14. Kim Susi from Queensland, 15. They're coached by Swain Ravelli, and his assistants are Craig Morrow, Michael Musa, and manager Kim Solomon.
Oh, nice introduction there. Going into the last few seconds before we kick off to this, I'll quickly go through the New Zealand teams. In number 1, we have McLean. 2, Whitiora. 3, Nutai. 4, Turnbull. 5, Ma. 6, Davis. 7, Tainui McIntyre. Number 8, Woodman Inosa. Number 9, Willison. Number 10, Tote. Vice captain, number 11, Campbell. Number 12, Steele. Number 13, Eagler. Number 14, Marsh. Number 15, Hopcroft. Number 16, Lee. Coached by Liana Te Ohaere Fox, past New Zealand representative for the Touch Blacks. Assisted by Gavin Downs from Tupare Tour, and manager Auckland sensation Bernie Pone.
Yeah, it's the first time Australia's ventured to these fine shores and won 3 divisions 2-0 last night, but never before has Australia secured the clean sweep, taking straight sets, and that wasn't looking a prospect in the mixed match, it's fair to say. But certainly this will be right on the agenda of the Australian contingent now as they go to Game 3 for the Australian Women's Open, as they set up now. And the sun's starting to break out. Sammy Hopkins on a late sweep play here from Percy to Hopkins. No, it goes the other way. That's a long dive over, but looks to be it was a great touch actually for number 6 there, Charlotte Davis.
Yeah, Australia drew first blood by winning the toss. It's always a good start to get on the front foot to have their first set of 6, because if you can put something away here, it's always positive. It gets the back up, gets the shoulders pumped.
That's number 6 again, a great touch there from Charlotte Davis. So Australia look to just get the nerves a bit settled now, as New Zealand now have their first right of reply to move upfield now, and it's again through that defender on those first 2 touches, Charlotte Davis making her way sideline as New Zealand gets it up to halfway, making their way over into the Australian half now as they just play at midfield now. It's number 9 there, Tanika Willison, try scorer last night against the Australians. Dana Turnbull from half. Looks to be, if you come up an Australian player, might well have gone forward, but anyway, a little bit scrappy. But Mariki Watago will play it now for 14, Laura Peaty.
Yeah, I think he caught it there. It may have come off the Australian hands and went forward, but we're not on the ground, so we'll leave it to the referees. Here's a favourable mistake for New Zealand. New Zealand hot on attack, 10 metres out from the line with a fresh set of 6.
Perhaps a little bit of justice there, George, that the ball goes straight from Leah Percy to ground, and now it's New Zealand trying to make amends now through number 9.
Tainui McIntyre, a person that's lethal for Auckland, that's always dangerous on the 5 metre. Gets a rare opportunity. That's her forte in this game around the 5 metre, but she's been a very good team player. Oh, nice wrap around here.
Dana Turnbull there. Yeah, Turnbull did very well there. Long ball there wide, but just puts the ball at least towards the sideline. I think it's there for Yasmin Meeks to play the ball, but that's exactly where you want to have the ball. See the replay again. Willison, wide ball there to Dana Turnbull, but just not there in Australia's defence. The so-called wall, they say, the green and gold wall, they'll try to keep that intact today as Australia now through Sammy Rogers now tries to make her way as she makes it to Danny Davis now. She was quite dangerous there for Australia in game 1.
Yeah, Danny Davis getting some extra yards there, working the play. Oh, there's a little step
play
around. What do
so
we
she
got
might
here?
even look in field to assist her.
Number 12 will
Shelley.
be looking for a touch call there. Phoebe Steele is calling the touch, but it must have been the referee calling her offside. Play through. Australia take a sniff and almost get a touchdown.
Yeah, that's Daddy Davis and sister Shelley setting up there. Well, Daddy Davis getting through there, Phoenix. What's New Zealand? They've obviously seen a couple of forays to their line in the last couple of minutes. What's New Zealand? Their sets now getting off their line.
Oh, the main focus will be just to go forward and try and execute down on the 5 metre line if they can get there. And obviously the D's been okay for so far, so hopefully that holds through the rest of the game.
Yeah, Phoenix, that'll be a real confidence builder for the New Zealand team, holding out that strong attack of Australia. So we're actually into a grind now, and you've been in that grind before. So how does that feel?
Yeah, mate, I've definitely been in the grind, especially playing against Aussie. It's rough, mate. You've been there yourself, and once you get through, though, you have a sudden burst of energy, and all you want to do is dot that ball down over the line. So hopefully the girls can get down there.
That's great defence there from New Zealand. Thanks, Phoenix. It was really, really tight. Australia couldn't really find any space there at all, or holes previously. So it looks as if New Zealand now out of jail there a couple of times at least in those early exchanges. So they make their way over halfway again through number 6, Charlotte Davis. Been very busy already in this match. Number 12 there, Phoebe Steele. Gets the ball, Jessica Marr, back to Steele. But not really making any real sort of damage there to the Australian defence, as Australia will now look to just get off their line. Get downfield, they've got 6 touches ahead.
Yeah, that's right, Julian. And when we're talking about the grind, those first 3 dumps, as we've mentioned all throughout this event, this Trans Tasman series, just like that, when you get a play like that and you get something off the back of it, that's where it's danger.
Well, Yasmin Meeks, that's about 30 metres she's made there. That's fantastic, outstanding. So it's now a really good little switch play there, but no, looks like they've got 6 more. So great play from Yasmin Meeks, actually just getting Australia in a fantastic position. Found a lot of space and charged hard. That's the main thing that the coach is looking for. Particularly, you see that from Taylor Clifford there previously. The coach is very impressed with how they're surging forward. Leah Percy gets it down now. Off to Sammy Hopkins, looking probing. Is that good enough? My goodness, what a great try. She's a talent, isn't she, number 7?
I can't wait to see the replay of this, Julian. If you have a look, there's 5 New Zealand defenders all within like 10 metres, and how does she get through that gap? Let's have a look again.
Percy draws out the defender, you see there, and off it goes to Hopkins. She just leaves Phoebe Steele, I think it's number 12. Sorry, yeah. And the defence inside just not there, but that's what she preys on, is just waiting for the defence to stop, get flat-footed, and she just ducked inside.
So what I saw there, she beat the saver. Another saver come in to save there, beats that saver, and then an extra saver comes in and gets inside her. Amazing. Good touchdown to Australia. Way to start the game off.
Yeah, absolutely. New Zealand looking to have a right of reply here, though, as it's 4 out wide.
I guess that's why everyone in Australia talks about Samantha Hopkins, right?
Yeah, she's a talent. Look, and you know, she comes from a very talented family too. Her sister Emily, you know, the wife of the great Australian men's player Dylan Hennessy. You know, they used to knock about in the backyard, all 3 of them as 14-year-olds, and it's sensational to see her emerge. Probably misses her sister. In fact, has said as much, you know, in recent days. It'd be great to have her here. But certainly she's now a fully fledged senior member of this team, and she's really leading a young charge as well.
Oh, well done. And like you said, that she's a pedigree coming from a great line of touch players. And you know, Emily will be the wife of
Dylan Hennessy.
Dylan Hennessy.
Yeah.
Wow. Wonder what they talk about around the kitchen table.
Yeah, well, it probably isn't soccer balls and netballs, that's for sure. Mia Johnson now just starting to make... Oh, that's a great ball. Looks as if it's forward, though, to Mariki Wadago, and the referee on the sidelines called it, or... It looks so, yeah. So New Zealand get the penalty, 10 out. So try to make their way upfield now. So 1-0, they'll be happy with that, New Zealand.
Yeah, they were happy with the defence, the forward pass there, but let's take a few years back in the game. In the New Zealand scene, with the women's scene, you didn't see many long balls like that coming in. It wasn't a specialty from a women's player, but Australia seems to have so many players who can chuck long balls like that, which adds another dimension to their game.
Well, Danny Davis yesterday, you saw it, you know, it was 25 to 30 metre ball that hit Sammy Rogers, you know, square. Yeah, it was a fantastic ball, but this is what they practice and rehearse. Steve Roberts will attest it's get out the witch's hat and just try to hit it from 20 or 30, you know, and just try to look at that target. And here we go again, Australia. Is that Mia Johnson? By the looks, it is in fact Hannah Dybel. And hasn't she been prolific, young Hannah Dybel? She's emerged through the youth tour. What's the setup here goes? She just tries to take on the outside defender. It's just not there, unfortunately, to a diving captain, Jean Marsh. Hannah Dybel just drawing breath on the sideline, but Australia blow out to 2-0.
Yeah, that's right, Julian. It's a name that we've mentioned throughout this test. Dybel getting another. She's been beautiful throughout. Let's watch her throughout this test series.
Yeah, absolutely. New Zealand will look to strike back, but it's 2-0. I think, just early on in this game, New Zealand, they'll be pretty happy with this, I think, because Australia hasn't blown out like they did yesterday. They just scored all their tries very, very early, so they'll be quite happy, I think, to just have the Australians at 2 at this point.
You're having a good look at this one. From what I've seen so far, New Zealand haven't been bad. Australia have just been exceptional when it comes to those 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. Now Australia's trying to make their way. That ball wasn't really there, unfortunately, from Sammy Hopkins, I think, to the winger. But New Zealand now, they have a chance. 20 metres out, you couldn't get in better field position. The ball's out wide, but they'll try to make it in field here and try and isolate some of these middle defenders. But
yeah, strike rate on the 5 metres. They've been a little bit different between Australia and New Zealand. So when the New Zealand get their strike rate up on the 5 metre line, I think they'll be very dangerous.
yeah, absolutely. They set up well here through Tanui, McIntyre out wide, but the defence is there with Sammy Rogers.
Yeah, you talk about that wall of Australia. I think that was happening in that phase.
Well, certainly they're tight. See down wide, there's 3 defenders there, and they're all dragging and pushing out wide, which is great to see. They've got to try to engage the middle defenders there, New Zealand, a little more rather than sort of drifting wide too early.
Yeah, right. I'm seeing a lot up here. A lot of good stuff from Australia, a lot of good stuff from New Zealand, but just some beautiful finishing from Australia. Phoenix, what are you thinking New Zealand have to do now? Because that's been some exceptional finishes from Australia to take them up 2-0. What do you think New Zealand have to pull out of the bag here?
I think they need to go back to their short game. If they get any chances like that down on the line, they've got some good bullets girls out there like Washar and Jean. If they can get out there and have a go, then that'll be their strength. Obviously,
Sammy Rogers.
Whoa, let's take a break there. There was a couple of hits there, and one was on the referee.
So it's Percy goes down. Sorry about that, Phoenix. Before it's as Petey gets out from dummy half, tries a long ball there wide to Sammy Rogers. That looked down. Oh, I tell you what, that was
I think
close.
it may have been a forward pass in that situation.
Yeah, I'm down there on the corner. I thought that was down, but I think the ref did call forward there. So.
Yep. Between you, Phoenix, me, George, I think we were with the ref on that one. Absolutely forward.
Yeah, and it was a hard one to call when she's sitting on her bottom, getting taken out by an Australian player.
Mystery McLean draws it inside. Now back to number 6, Charlotte Davis, figuring prominently once again. Now it's out to Jean Marsh, the captain. Charlotte Davis, that's 6 touches, 5 metres out. Hannah Dye will play it back to...
Yeah, Phoenix mentioned it earlier on. Once we talk about Jean Marsh and Charlotte Davis getting into their game plan, as they did in the first test, they were nullified because of the attack of Australia, working hard. They didn't get on the 5 that often in the test series too.
Very true, mate. It's Sammy Hopkins again. This could spell some danger here for the New Zealand defence as Sammy Hopkins from half gets through by the looks. He holds it up well. It should be an easy try there. I would think they're down to number 1, Mariki Watago. Goodness me, she scored some tries this campaign. Fantastic.
What a go, what a go, what a try. Touchdown for her. She's been scoring all series.
Shirley Davis
Outstanding game.
Sorry, George. Shirley Davis there got it down very well, engaged a few of those defenders. See there, Sammy Hopkins just ball in both hands, just drawing the defenders left and right and find some space again. She's been very instrumental here early already. Mariki Watago, she's making a bit of a procession down that right flank. That's 3-0 to Australia.
Next thing Phoenix scored was in regards to the short game. They're going quite wide and expanding the New Zealand team early in the touch count, and every time they look up, there's actually an Australian defender there. They've got to bring the Australian defence in tight, and then the long game would come into play. Is that how you're seeing it, Phoenix?
Yeah, definitely. It was a strength of ours last year and in the last couple of years. So if they can do that and what force Aussie to squeeze in and tighten up in D, and it'll open up for players like Dana Turnbull to throw long. She has earlier in the series, so hopefully she gets a chance we can do that.
So yeah, fantastic. Thanks there, Phoenix. But that looks like Leah Percy drifting out wide on the wing actually, but recipient of a great little ball there. Fantastic play there, no doubt about it. That was awesome lead-up work, and I'm pretty sure it was Emma Sykes, in fact. Yes, it was, to Leah Percy out wide, and she'll be happy with that try. Leah Percy, one of the senior members of the team, and Australia now draw out to 4-0, which is a fantastic effort already. So New Zealand now press ahead through number 4, Dana Turnbull. She draws it back inside to number 9. That's Taniki Willison, the try scorer from yesterday. Willison again from half. Looks to have come off the hand of Sammy Hopkins. They'll get 6 more. And see the setup again here. It's
Lizzie
It's really,
Campbell.
really well worked there from half. As you see, Emma Sykes, the shoulders looking right, but then comes left. Ball in both hands, as you see, and the decoy was inside. I think it was for Meeks, but then out wide picks up Percy. New Zealand now. Do they strike back? Sammy Hopkins offside, but just getting a talking to from the ref.
That was a nice phase to come back to with the diving play there by number 9, Tinica Willison, but unfortunately no touchdown.
Yep, so
Dana
Willison
Turnbull.
plays it again. Dana Turnbull, they're looking, searching and probing for some sort of hole in this wall, but it's just not there, unfortunately, at the moment for the Kiwis. They're going to have to try to engage these defenders, Phoenix, draw them out a little more and then try to get a quick plant on them, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Here we go here with Dana, and she's looking sharp. So a bit more of that, hopefully. But they do got to start showing short and forcing Aussie to work on D, forcing them to save so that it can open up out wide.
Yep, Percy having a great game first half there. Just dummies to one of the defenders there as he draws out another 5-6 metres. Now look at flying Yasmin Meeks down the wide. It's Wadago, in fact, sorry. Mariki Wadago out wide there. Takes a well-earned break as now it's inside to Mia Johnson from Queensland as she draws it forward. Taylor Clifford down for Johnson. Johnson away again. Oh, it's off the... I think there could be no. I think it's actually going to be a changeover or... Ball back, in fact. I think Danny Davis makes her way back there in number 5. I think, yeah, the ball's gone forward and certainly it's now New Zealand getting their way off the field. It looked a little marginal, that ball, but they make their way forward up towards halfway there now, George.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go back to the build-up to this test series. These girls are in peak condition. There's a lot of sprinting, a lot of running. They have to be in top form. They all get fitness tests. They're all in training schemes. How's it working for the Australians?
Yeah, look, a lot of pre-event camps are conducted, because it's obviously, you see with Australia, it's quite a vast land, and most of the representation comes from New South Wales and Queensland. So usually the lead up to the big international events have the National Touch League or the Elite 8 series we have conducted each March at Coffs Harbour. That's a great lead up for these players, fitness and skill and ability wise, and a lot of their preparations are done with their teams there. But then they all drift into the Australian team camps at that point.
So you speak of the Elite 8. Every lady out there on the field for Australia plays in that Elite 8?
Yeah, absolutely, that's right. That's exactly where they seek their national title glory, and there's a lot invested in securing those wins. And we see with the men's team and the women's that they've the Queensland Cowboys have really emerged in the last couple of years, winning 2 of the last 3, and the representation in the Australian team as a result. Obviously there's a lot of Queensland girls in this side, but it's a good mix of New South Wales and Queensland players in the women's, but certainly a lot more New South Wales players in the men's team. So that just shows the strength that it's Yasmin Meeks.
Yeah, you talk about this Elite 8, so it's obviously like a franchise system where these ladies get put into these teams, or is it just where they're from?
Where
or
they're
how
from,
does it work?
where they're from, George, and geographical in nature, but certainly it's obviously the best breeding ground and an opportunity for these girls to prepare and get set for elite competition. And that's what you're seeing in evidence here. This is why they're so sharp and why they're so organised. And that's a great cut ball from Danny Davis.
What a go with what a hand. So what a game of touch we have for Australia. Would we be right with saying that's 5 touchdowns to 0 at the moment?
Yeah, look, great switch play there, Phoenix. You see there Danny Davis just drawing in those defenders. What a go again. Seems to me that she's got a lot of space around her each time she gets the ball. How did you see that man right in front of you there, Phoenix?
Yeah, it was a bit messy by Aussie, to be quite honest, but it worked for them. It made New Zealand get messy on D, and a great pass there by Danny Davis to assist it to Mariki Wadago as well. So
it drew the penalty there. Thanks, Phoenix. It drew the penalty there from Leah Percy. But you see their shutdown coming in. They just that's coming in from an outside link. They're obviously really trying to close down the play of New Zealand, not just in the middles, but from the links coming in.
Yeah, definitely. They are forcing New Zealand to save and forcing New Zealand to work, which is opening up for their wingers, and they're having a field out there at the moment.
Yep, sure. As New Zealand now, they've got to absolutely strike back now. Phoebe Steele back inside. That looks close, but I think the Australian defence is there. Taylor Clifford.
I'll tell you what, where did Lizzie Campbell come from? That was a nice slam in there. The quickies are superb from New Zealand. That's a dominant part of their game in New Zealand, and Australia's defence is obviously shutting that component out here today.
Yeah, indeed. Phoebe Steele now gets it down. I think it's there for Charlotte Davis from half as she gets away now. It's 14. Jean Marsh, the captain, back to Charlotte Davis.
We're coming down to the last minute and a half, I think we're going to say, is what New Zealand need here, Julian, is probably
Campbell.
at least one try to give them a little booster going into the second half, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good switch play. At least probing. 10 metres out, New Zealand really need to strike in here now. Charlotte Davis.
For the first time in this match, the Jean Marsh-Davies
That looks
combo
good. That's
comes
fantastic
into play.
Tatanui McIntyre, the scorer there, number 7. Fantastic lead-up play. As you see, it's a really, really good switch play as we go back to the replay. There's the switch. An outstretched Australian defender. I couldn't see quite who it was, but it was a fantastic effort from them. That's the strike back we were looking for, Phoenix, the stroke of half-time. Mate, fantastic to see that go in.
Yeah, see that touchdown there. Davies and Marsh were like magnets to the Australian defence. They all closed in, and then Tainui McIntyre showed some brilliance there to finish off.
Yeah, outstanding. Now, as it's Australia, they might have something to say before we close to the break. Kim Susi now, I haven't seen much of her this game. Emma Sykes. Back to Shelley Davis now as she... Back to Manly colleague Petey as Petey gets it down for Shelley Davis. Petey now from wide, looks to try to pick up the winger, but it really wasn't quite there, but they draw out the penalty. Can't be long to the half-time break. Emma Sykes now.
New Zealand need to be smart here. Break this final set of 6 for Australia, and that'll give them a little bit of confidence going into this half-time break.
They set the ball up well with Susi now. Shelley Davis. Step back from Sykes. Double face play there from Sykes. Picks up what a go. I think she likes it. In fact, no, it's actually Yasmin Meeks. Not sure what the referees decided.
Yeah, the on-field referee looked to the sideline just for a little bit of help on that decision there.
Shelley Davis out from
Nice.
Sykes.
Check
Picked
out
up
the
well from
hands
Sykes.
on
Yeah,
that.
I think it's a really, really good touch, actually. Great diving and desperation actually shown by New Zealand, which is great to see. Yasmin Meeks not quite been able to get it down in time.
As you know, we don't have the bunker there, so we just have the support referees. But with a combination of them two, they get the best decision, and they once again made it correctly right.
Well, Phoenix was right there. How did you see that, mate? It was a very, very close call, yeah?
Yeah, it was definitely a close call, but I think there was a touch there, only just though. But it was good. That'll be a morale boost for the girls. Hopefully they go in this next half and they can cut the lead down, if not gain the lead.
Yeah, fantastic. Now New Zealand back in the huddle as Australia to break to think about what they can do in the next 20 minutes, certainly, to for New Zealand make some amends, but for Australia really looking to keep intact that scoreline of 1. And certainly now I think we're going to just shift to the highlights package as we... Yeah, so New Zealand, as we see, with that fine try, and that was exactly the right time. And here's this near miss from Sykes out to Meeks at the stroke of half-time, but certainly that's an impressive comeback for New Zealand through Taunui McIntyre to score. Was very welcome try, you know, because I think going to the break, certainly at 5-0 would have been hard for New Zealand, I think, to build a base, I think, in the second half, but at least that gives themselves a little bit of spirit to start the second half. And, you know, hopefully with the ball now too coming into the Australian line, you know, they could strike back again and do some damage to the Australian defence. Now this is probably back into the middle girls and actually trying to surge forward and draw out those defenders with a bit more venom, I think, is the key.
Yeah, that's right there. I'll go down to Phoenix here, mate. Phoenix, last year you were in these huddles at half-time at the World Cup. What do you think the coaches would have been saying for New Zealand?
Oh, mainly just to be positive and keep sticking to our systems. The girls look like they win their way. Yeah, hopefully just pretty much coach will just be reinforcing, sticking to our systems and making sure that we execute when we can, every opportunity pretty much.
Yeah, you're right on the ball. And just a couple of comments like that. They've done their homework, they work their processes, they know what they should be doing. Sometimes they need a gentle reminder of what's working. Sometimes there's tactical changes because there's defence out there that have been exposed to. The coach will pick up on that and make adjustments accordingly.
Yeah, here we are with New Zealand now just on standby here for the resumption of the second half as the siren goes, and New Zealand now start to sort of make their way upfield. Certainly Phoebe Steele with the Megan Campbell, sorry, the vice captain.
As we come back to the game, Julian, with a score of 5-1, nothing in it. As we saw before, there was 3 tries deficit with 3 minutes to go in the mixed game. It come down to 1 point. So 4 tries, it's easy to reel that one back in if they come strong, especially like the men's in the second half. Let's see if they can get a rocket up their backside and pull it out this time.
That's a great ball. In fact, there, good start there from Tenica Wilson, getting high up in the air to try to push it wide out left to isolate a link, but the Australian defence was there. Sammy Rogers now from dummy half, making her way to Kim Susi. Now is Denny Davis. Back to Petey, I think it is out wide there on the flank, and this is back to Susi again. She'll start to probe more in the second half, which will spell danger for New Zealand when she gets moving. I'm not sure if she's favouring a left leg there at the moment, but Sammy Hopkins now, she's in the mood, and so is Leah Percy. Really, these two girls really stepping up as the senior members of the team. Great ball there, nice and sharp from Mia Johnson, but late, unfortunately.
It's a great defensive set by New Zealand. They've started the second half just as they did in the first Test match. They're working the attacking defence. They're getting up in Australia's face, cutting down those yards, making Australia push balls just like that with nothing really on. They aren't able to get that power step in or power scoop in at the end of their set of 5 or 6.
Yeah, repeat penalties here though to New Zealand. Has them in very, very good field position as Charlotte Davis takes us forward. Tia Nutai now starting to move the ball left and right. Nutai again getting it down. They've got to start to get in a little bit closer and tighter to these Australian middle defenders, and that's better play here from Charlotte Davis. Good outside ball, but unfortunately just not to hand there for the link out wide there to the left. Now it's Sammy Rogers again.
Yeah, the idea was right there by Charlotte Davis. Unfortunately, the execution wasn't quite pinpoint. The pass was slightly back there. But when it comes down to minutes as the coach works it through, the first minute I think it's been won by New Zealand. Liana Te Ohaere Fox will be very happy with the start from New Zealand team.
Yep, certainly. Hopkins now back to Mia Johnson in the middle. She's been busy this half, as has Leah Percy here now from dummy half. They just want to try and put the ball out wide here, I think, just to manage the transition out wide, so New Zealand take the ball from the left. There
we go again. Another great set of 6 defensively by New Zealand.
Absolutely.
Australia were unable to get to the 5 metre, which they've been constantly doing throughout the first half.
Sun's starting to shine down there, Phoenix, which will help with you there, mate. No hat required. It's as New Zealand make their way in. It's Phoebe Steele. What have they got to do here, mate? 10 metres out.
No, yeah, and thankfully the sun's coming out. It's getting a bit nippy down here, but the girls got to start playing a bit there. There was something shown there by Jess, and hopefully if she gets another shot, her and Aria will be a good little asset there.
Yeah, Jess Mahard, she seemed to have the better of the Australian defender there, but just couldn't keep her feet. Unfortunately, Jasmine Meeks now charges upfield over halfway. A great run there from her. Back it goes from Sykes now to Meeks. Sykes has been very, very busy again too, like with Susi. Now to Danny Davis, gets it down very well. Nice clean roll ball there. Sykes again, great left to right ball. No, not to hand though, unfortunately. It was a vain effort though. I think it was Yasmin Meeks out wide there, but it was a really, really good ball from Sykes from the Sunshine Coast back in Australia. But now it's New Zealand again making their way out from their line. They've got to get organised in this sub-box transition.
Out of 3 or 4 sets, Australia, that's the first time they've got down to the 5 with only 1 touch up their sleeve. So whatever the game plan is from New Zealand, it's working well. And look at this, they're getting a repeat set. So everything's in favour of them to have a great comeback here. They just need to capitalise when they get to the 5. What do you think, Phoenix?
Yeah, no, we've got to reset down here, so hopefully they can score. Tanima's been playing well, so with Dana, so hopefully if it opens up for her here, we'll go good.
Willison. Sniping effort there, sliding down very low. She's causing some trouble there for the Australian defenders, it's fair to say, but this combination of Dana Turnbull and Willison's actually, that's very close.
Wow.
Excellent effort there.
That is very close.
Susi and Dyball.
Yeah, Susi looked a little bit short there, but I couldn't comment on Dyball, so the referee is right there, makes the call, touch counts. But
Very
a
close.
very productive dive there by Willison.
Turnbull again, Turnbull and Willison. They've found some space out wide, Phoebe Steele, but can't hold it. In fact, straight into the arms, so I think it's Yasmin Meeks it is. And it's, again, Australia through Dyball and Meeks up that side line. They'll try to manage this transition again as they draw the ball out centre field through Shelley Davis. It's a great run. Back from Percy to Davis. Davis to Percy. And Percy will pick up Sammy Hopkins charging out towards the sideline. It's a good game plan from the Australians. They're just trying to keep it tight and actually do the little 1%ers of keeping the ball out wide for New Zealand to try to have to exhaust 1 or 2 touches to get to the centre field. As they get over halfway well again, they've been managing to get a couple of penalties here in New Zealand at this point, but they're making good forays down here, Phoenix.
Yeah, they've been finally doing some good yards, so hopefully with the finish here by Shah, hopefully we'll get down here.
Here we go. A combination that's been doing it for New Zealand.
Here's a
Play
breakout.
on.
Yasmin Meeks doesn't quite have the toe to get through, but Sammy Hopkins charges upfield again through and Percy at half. Then they draw out the penalty. Haven't had one for a while, Australia.
Yeah,
so Shelley
Australia
Davis
will be relieved with that one. It's the first penalty, I think, of the half for them. They've been under the pump and they get their first penalty. We've pushed them in good field position, so watch out here.
5-1 Australia again as it's now Emma Sykes. Apologies, that's Danny Davis now. Danny Davis driving upfield. Looking poised here, Taylor Clifford to Percy. That's a great ball. Oh my God, I didn't even know that she got that away, but I think whenever the ball gets out to Mariki Wadigo, it's a fair chance she scored the try, and she does. Again, that's number 3 for Wadigo for the game. Outstanding. Have a look at this ball. Engaged all the defenders. Wadigo very, very sharp in getting the ball straight from hand to the ground. Excellent play there from the Australian midfield, and then out wide to Wadigo. She's had an outstanding tournament.
Yeah, Wadigo, if I look down to the tally sheet, I think she's on a hat-trick already.
She is.
That'll be correct.
Yep, indeed. She scored the 3. 2 in the first half, and now that's the hat-trick in the second half. That's outstanding play from Australia as they draw out the 6-1. So New Zealand make their way down to the Australian end, but from here, Phoenix, it's a question. What is it that New Zealand can do to stem the flow? Because Australia will be in quite some mood now to get on with it. As you see that they start to drive upfield, they'll have their tails up and they'll start to have some running in those legs now. They'll see that the New Zealand defence is cracking and they'll try to take some advantage of it.
Yeah, the New Zealand girls got to take a leaf out of the Aussie books here and start punching forward on the yards. This would be a good start for them here, not too far from halfway, so let's hopefully they do that.
Well, they managed well there, George. They just seem to stop the ascendancy, but that's very messy in field, unfortunately, there for New Zealand. There was just a lot of confusion there in the midfield. Now it's C and Sykes, which will spell danger here for New Zealand if they're not careful. As it,
If we go to the stats, looking at Australia, they've had one opportunity, had a penalty close to halfway, which in a good attacking position. 1 from 1, they scored. This is their second opportunity with a handover early. Let's see what Australia can do.
Yep, Johnson to Sykes to try the quickie to engage that middle, but it's out to What a go again. Mia Johnson from half. Finds space. That is fantastic play, but the ball goes to ground, unfortunately. Johnson.
Yeah, New Zealand can count their lucky stars on that one. It was a try for...
Yeah, look at this. Johnson just ball in two hands, but then starts to take off, picks up her Queensland colleague in Emma Sykes, but just a little bit out to the left, unfortunately.
Yeah, what a shame that pass was hit her clean in the hands and she dropped it.
Yeah, it comes from a great pedigree, Mia Johnson. Her father, Brett, was a long-time Queensland Reds halfback in the day with Tim Horan and Jason Little and players of that ilk. So yeah, she's starting to really emerge up in the Queensland region. But here's great play from New Zealand. That's fantastic play from New Zealand, in fact. What a great play there. Charlotte Davis, number 6. The ball switched back, and it was great hands out wide to the right, and then back inside to Davis. Phoenix, you're right on the spot. How good was that?
Oh mate, that was amazing. Looks a bit like Georgie's old long balls back in the day. So good pass.
Yeah, I had a bit more rainbow in my technique, a lot more colour there. Beautiful touchdown by Tainui McIntyre. Would that be right? No, it was a Charlotte Davies. But assisted by Tainui McIntyre. It's great to see Tainui McIntyre come into this game. She's been a team player throughout. I think the coach has asked her to step forward now to pull out her goods.
Yeah, 6-2. They'll be happy with that, New Zealand. That's a fantastic. That's exactly what we're asking, I think, of them. And it's precisely the point, George and Phoenix, you make. It's that they started to actually put a bit more pressure on the Australian defence, and it showed. Taylor Clifford out wide, a loose ball, but it managed to be held in well from Yasmin Meeks there out wide. Danny Davis from half. Taylor Clifford again to Percy. Needs to get that ball down, I think. But that was 6th, in fact, to a credit. Number 9 now. It's Tanika Wilson playing it as it's Turnbull that takes it forward. New Zealand really need to get some speed in these rucks to get down the other end and put more pressure again, as they did. Tanika Wilson will be she'll be pivotal to this. Ball goes to ground. I should apologise. It's Tainui Mac
series.
Yep, it's Marsh getting it down there. Charlotte Davis to Nuti.
Oh, beautiful second
there,
base. Who saw that coming? It looked like she was falling over, but
well, it's an outstanding try.
Of the lady.
Outstanding try there, but to Patricia Hopcroft. Have a look at this again. It's really interesting to see because the ball is played there, and in fact it's a double phase play, but it's actually thought, I think the Aussie girls thought that the count was up.
Well, even if she went for a touch, so they obviously, a try, so they thought she put the ball down and they go, oh, we made the touch on you, but she actually put the ball down as a roll ball.
But it's Petey, I think, that realises that the touch has been made. Have a look at that again. It's interesting because it's Petey that makes the touch, but I think that she must have thought the 6 was up because she stopped dead on her heels, and in fact it was a great second phase play try to New Zealand. How do you see that, Phoenix?
Yeah, no, it was a tricky trick there by Jean Walker and Sharp, but the girls will be happy to get down and cut that lead into half, so hopefully with another couple sets of hard yards they can get another couple downs.
Well, they're certainly finding some chinks in that.
In a very good position if they can capitalise on the time that they're down on the 5 metre.
If Sammy Rogers back to Percy, and that ball's gone to ground. So it's now Australia there with a few of the question marks. Losing a little bit of composure here currently with a few minutes out from full time.
Let's see how New Zealand go with this set of 6, because this could be determining of whether they get their backs up, their shoulders up, or where they drop slightly off the ball. They're in good field position.
McIntyre. Sorry, George.
Yeah, they're in good field position here. 15 metres out, nice drive and run, catching 2 Australian defenders. Working the hands, going over the top. Nice diving play by Engler.
That's an outstanding touch that's affected from the Australian out wide. Let's have a look at this. Great long ball, it's fair to say. Pinpoint accuracy.
Oh,
but Sammy Rogers from Manly, that's outstanding, outstretched touch. Some desperation there, and her Manly colleague Danny Davis surging upfield again as it's...
Yeah, well, she opened up the rib cage there. I think she got a little bit winded. She was down for a few seconds, and she put her body on the line there, and it was well worth it. Kept New Zealand away from a touchdown.
Sammy Hopkin there with a very sneaky play, trying to see if she could have a short side pass to Yasmin Meeks. It was on the fly, but oh dear, those balls look a little forward. But anyway, it's New Zealand as they get to halfway through. Phoebe Steele, I think it's that time. To Nui McIntyre again.
With one more touch up their sleeve,
This
here
is
goes
a much
the
better
maestro.
setup.
From dummy half, goes short side. There's that old follow play. The Counties Monaco connection. Open Women's Champions do it once again. Here we go. With an opportunity in the middle, the strike rate's high. Jean Marsh from dummy half takes it to the left side, looks inside.
Touchdown to player number 6.
Finishing like a legend, Charlotte Davies. What do you think, Julian?
Oh, certainly that's a really well constructed try, but you could really see it actually emerge. It was they were getting the roll on, and certainly you could see it obviously through Charlotte Davis, and then back inside. It's an outstanding setup. It really was, and I've just looked at the faces of the Australian defenders, and they were a little clueless. It was Kim Soo-See and Hannah Dyle looked at each other and just came up with nothing. Phoenix, great strike back.
Yeah, definitely. It's about time Shah and Jean got down there and had to correct themselves. They've been great on D, so that was a well-deserved try by Charlotte. So hopefully they get another chance and they can close that
nice,
lead down
Phoenix.
again.
From what I know, Phoenix, you spent a lot of time with Charlotte Davies in the earlier days of her career and taught her a few of your secrets and spent a lot of time in the quickie. And it was very evident at the Open Nationals of how well she has grown in that dummy half position or even that quickie dives. Would that be right? You did spend a lot of time and she reflected on what you do out there on the field?
Yeah, well, we spent a fair bit of time together. Me and another guy, we've been really close. But I think she was dusting up the videos of your old video clips.
Nice
mate.
one, Phoenix. We're going to just have to cut from you for a while there as the excitement is ecstatic for the New Zealand spectators here today, because what we have is another touchdown. Julian, I missed that one.
Oh, look, that was outstanding. This is the try of the match and probably the series. In fact, it was an outstanding exchange of passes. The Australian girls desperately trying to close it down, but they're just ball to hand each time, and it's Patricia Hopcroft for her second out wide, number 15. That's outstanding, and it's a really good strike back.
Hopcroft with the smiles, mate. She was still 2 metres from the line. She could see the try line, was ready to get the touchdown, and she knew that New Zealand were back in the game before she even dotted down.
Oh, I'd love to see that again, in fact, on replay. Danny Davis, that's a great outside ball. It's a really good strike back, but it's forward, I think. I thought it was a good ball there from Davis to Wattigo, but the referees suggest otherwise. So, but, you know, back to that try, that's just outstanding. I mean, under some pressure. The Australians have really lost their way, it's fair to say. I just don't know exactly what it is, whether it's the cloud or the overcast conditions, but maybe it's the close of the tournament that's just having them a little weary. But it's all the running in the New Zealand team right now, which is outstanding to see. I couldn't see this coming.
You go back to that touchdown, that missed opportunity by Australia, calling a forward pass. If you look at the lines there, yeah, it shows it was a forward pass, so there goes the argument with the forward momentum, and as you go forward, you get it all the time in the NRL and the Super Rugby, but that's a call by the referee, and fair call, and it's in favour of New Zealand at that particular time.
This is a real test now, as we see for these young Australian girls. They've got to show their composure now. It's Yasmin Meeks drives her forward there with Hannah Dybel and Danny Davis and Sykes. This game's on a real knife edge.
What do we go? Is she going for a gift here?
Not sure what's happened there, but it looks like Soo-See and Sykes now trying to form that combination. Soo-See is very, very quick out of dummy half, but probably pushed that pass a little. Showing too much, probably a little bit too much urgency there, unfortunately. Sykes makes the touch. It's New Zealand now. Great drive upfield. This is exactly what Australia didn't want to see, but it's exactly what New Zealand had to do. It's now 20 metres out. Great chance to really put draw the scores level, sorry.
Jess Smart from dummy half, looking for the feed in. Referee not happy with that one. Looks to award a touch and pass here. Australia led off the hook. George,
sorry, mate. Yeah, I thought it was actually a penalty to New Zealand coming, but he's managed to turn his hips and shoulders the other way. By the referee, Sammy Hopkins now drives upfield. Soo-See.
New Zealand very hungry on defence here. With a minute to go, one touchdown in it, anyone's ball game. What New Zealand need to do is hold Australia out of their half, get good field position, and finish off with a good finishing scoop or a quickie on the 5. Let's see what happens. Oh, this flyer here was well offside. Gets away with it on that occasion.
Yeah, I have to say the desperation for Tunui McIntyre before in defence is trying to be matched on the Australians, but that will close it up. What a match we've just witnessed. New Zealand resurgent in the second half, valiantly going down by 1-6-5 to Australia, but it's, yeah, quite incredible to see that comeback, Phoenix. Outstanding, in fact, in the tries that they constructed. Certainly the second one of Hopcroft's was the try of the series, I'd have to say, not just this game. That was outstanding.
Yeah, it was a bit late, but it was a good search by the girls, and I think it was 5 minutes. If we had 5 minutes more, there would have been a bit of maybe a drop-off.
Our final game in the series.
Yeah, fair to say, I think that just a few of the girls in the middle, it was unfortunate if they could replicate that second half into the first. Would have been a very, very different picture for the Aussies. But they were truly outstanding. It was fair to say, George. They were
Julian,
awesome.
it was a game of 2 halves. If we do the stats on it, 5-1 at half-time, final score 6-5. So New Zealand actually won that half 4-1. What an amazing turnaround. If they could have just got it right in probably the that 10-minute phase in the first half, we could have had a different ball game here.
Well, certainly it's an exclamation mark for New Zealand, I think, you know, as the game 3 of this series, as they all, players and coaches and officials, come to the middle to congratulate each other on a wonderful series. But it's something that will really hold New Zealand in great stead. It's a young, developing team. Australia will certainly look at this as being a wake-up call of some regard, and it should be very, very proud, New Zealand, in how the girls rallied, and certainly, yeah.
Yeah, the girls will be very happy with that finish. They can take something out of this test series with these young ladies working very hard in that second half, coming up with 4 touchdowns to 1. I'm going to go down and join the action, pull the captains away, and just see how they feel about that.
Fantastic, George. Yeah, and I think certainly a wonderful game, a terrific series as we go to the highlights now. No worries. It is a fantastic resurgent Kiwis in the third in the series. Almost snatching a victory, can you believe it, from a seemingly impossible 5-1 position in arrears at half-time, and just coming back tremendously and putting the Australian girls right on the heels, and something well and truly to think about.
Conclusion of this next round of games.
As we'll look here shortly to see if we can pick up the sideline commentator, potentially with the captains. Yeah, so we've got George Yonke down on the sideline with the successful captains from Australia, and I believe with the New Zealand captain, as we swing to you, George Yon.
An exciting end. The third Test series, Open Women's New Zealand taking on Australia. 6-5 the final score. I'm here with the captains of the New Zealand team. I've got Jean Marsh and Miss Campbell, Megan Campbell, all the way from Australia, representing New Zealand today. Let's talk us through this. Shall we start with the first half with you, Megan, and tail off with this lovely lady here in the second half?
Yeah, I think we probably were a little bit slow out of the blocks in the first half, and we got a few touchdowns down. I mean, they always come really strong at us. They always grind hard, and as soon as they get a few up, they're really hard to stop the roll. So I think going into the second half, that's something we can be really proud of, that we really stopped the rot and we stopped the tries they were scoring.
Awesome, and you did finish off well. We're getting a touchdown in that first half. So coming into the second half, because it was a game of two halves, talk us through it, Jean.
I think just in the second half, we know there's absolutely no pressure on us, and it gives us the opportunity to come out here and actually play some touch. And us as New Zealand players, that's what we do. We're naturally skilled and flared at the touch games, and that's without the pressure on us, that's what we can present out there.
Yeah, with Meg and the troops doing all the hard yards in that second half, you actually come into form. You and young Charlotte Davies came into form like the first test, and it was good to see you a lot more down on the try line, and your strike rate was high once again. Talk us through that.
Again, we can't do anything in the middle if the middles aren't worked, so we need our ruck and our grind in the midsection for us to be even a chance at the line. And this time we did do the ruck and the grind, and which opened up the opportunities in the middle there for Shah.
Yeah, there was one particular play I saw out there just on the try line over here, was when you went in. It looked like you were going for a try and you put the ball down. Australia made a touch on you. They thought they had done their job, but you actually played the ball like millimetres off the line, and your dummy half was there for a second phase and touchdown. Was that planned?
Old heads do that to you.
I'll take a leaf at that. I'll put it in the bank there, so I may use it. I may train that with the teams that I'm coming through. You guys did us proud today. It was a great second half. You could take a lot of positives out of that, Megan.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are such a young team, and looking forward 4 years, that half is kind of what we want to base our whole game off. So I think that's a really strong finish for us, and even though we went down, we're happy to finish on that kind of game.
I know the New Zealand girls have got it, and there's a big difference from the teams of past, where the girls that you've got now have got the skill, got the athleticism, got the training, the mindset. Once they get that experience, you guys are going to be lethal. And I'm looking forward to 4 years' time in Malaysia. What do you reckon?
Yeah, can't wait.
And you're planning on being there, Jean?
I'll do my best. Whether I'm a player or whether I'm doing something else, I'll be there.
Well, the show you put on out there today, that was beautiful. So thank you very much, ladies. Outstanding tournament for you two particularly. We're going to sign off here. We're going to be going to the men's, is that right, the men's game next? And you guys can go and celebrate and, well, condole, whatever it is, and enjoy the company of our other ladies out there. Thank you very much, ladies. Hey, I'll be signing out now. We'll be going to our commentary team leading into the men's game. That was a beautiful game, beautiful comeback by New Zealand. We'll see you shortly with the Open Men's, New Zealand versus Australia. Test number 3. Touch, what a game.
Fantastic there, George. That was outstanding, and great to hear from the New Zealand guys. They were a real credit to them. That was an outstanding comeback, as we said, and it gives them very, very good importance and a great indicator too, just where they're at in Game 3. Sure, they lost the series 3-0, and they were very dominant, the Australians, in Game 2. But certainly I see from here, this is going to be an outstanding couple of years of Trans Tasmans ahead as we look towards Malaysia in 2019 for the next World Cup, and it'll have two of the best countries and best players on the planet pitted against each other again in Australia next year for the Super Trans Tasman. Yep, and it's here we are for the final match of the 9-game series here at the Trust Arena Stadium in Auckland, New Zealand. A fantastic setup here, and it's a really, really perfect day, actually, you have to say, with the cooler conditions, but the sun just starting to peek out from the clouds. Really sets up for a fantastic final game, and I think the New Zealand boys will certainly be up for this. The Australian men certainly will be too, and we're joined here today with the ex-Australian team captain, Steve Roberts, who's now moonlighting with the Japan Men's Open team as coach. How have you found the week so far, Steve?
It's been fantastic. Been a great opportunity to help another country develop their game, and they certainly did that throughout the few days that they played against Australia and New Zealand and the invitational New Zealand team.
Yeah, it was awesome to see the Japanese here, the whole contingent. They really stepped up against particularly the New Zealand invitational teams in the last couple of days, only going down by a try to each, and you must be very proud of their development, Steve, so far, particularly the men's.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, obviously we've got a bit of a bridge to gap, and there's a long way to go. But the development throughout the days that they were playing was quite phenomenal. You know, they've got the ability to score tries. They tend to make a few mistakes, and that leads to tries against them, unfortunately. But yeah, they certainly do have the ability to score tries and put teams under pressure.
Well, we saw that in the Rugby World Cup last year, and the way that the cherry blossoms emerged against South Africa was outstanding, but certainly the Sunwolves in the Super Rugby Series 2 just standing up and part of the fabric now, which is awesome, and we can't wait to see Japan at the World Cup, because we can see they're going to be a phenomenal team and hopefully up as contenders as well at the next World Cup. As the Australian teams now and make their way into the arena, getting set for the respective anthems, and might we see a haka here today, and certainly from the Australian experience, how was it at the receiving end of the haka there, Steve, from your perspective?
I actually loved it. I love having the haka done to me. It's sort of, I know they're offering the challenge to us, but I really enjoyed the haka when it got done to them, and I always asked Mira to make sure that the boys performed it when they were going to come against us.
And for New Zealand,
certainly it sends a shudder down the spines of Australians, but it's a deeply respectful and very, very welcome and well received celebration, and certainly I know the Australians just love to see it, and hopefully we can see one here before the play gets underway in the final game of this 3-test series between Australia and New Zealand, as New Zealand make their way onto the field. I think both teams, it's fair to say, Steve, there's been certainly the Australians in the second game and first, they really stamped their authority and class. Very, very powerful display in moving upfield quickly and very clinical. There's a lot of match winners in that Aussie side.
Yeah, the strike power across the park we talked about yesterday is exceptional for the Australian team. They'll be looking to keep their defence in place and know that they've got the strike power to score tries and lock out the Kiwis by having that wall, as George mentioned with the girls team, having that wall defence. So there's no try score.
Yeah, absolutely, as we stand for the national anthems.
good. Followed on by player one, Jonathan Blow, 2.
Well, as we lead into this exciting last game here at Trust Arena Stadium here in Auckland, the Australians and the Kiwis now just exchanging pleasantries as the game's just about to get underway, and we'll go through the Australian team sheet. Number 2, Sean Francis, and number 4, Ben Moylan. Number 5, Pete Norman, arguably the best player on the planet from the last World Cup, certainly looked that way. Dylan Hennessy, number 6, Scott Buckley, number 7. They're captained by Nicholas Good from Penrith, number 8. Jaden Love, number 9. Dr. Matt Prowse out wide, and number 10. Scott Bundy in 11. Stuart Bridie, 12. Lockie Pearce, number 13. Rob Knuckler at 14. And Daniel Barton, 15. Jordan Marshall, brother of Benji, in number 16. They're coached by the World Cup winning coach Tony Tradd and his assistants Paul Spear, Phil Guymore and Glenn Hayes. Over to the New Zealand sheet, George.
Yeah, what a team Australia has with superstars galore, coaches that have vast experience, and he's shown as good as old Tony Tradd. I always look to his coaching book. There's a few pointers there. As we go over to the New Zealand team, number 1, Kavanagh. Number 2, Graham, sporting the captaincy. Number 3, Sinclair. Number 4, McCurran. Number 5, Law. Number 6, Tomuru. Number 7, Hoare. Number 8, Leota. Number 9, Black. Number 10, Ormsby, sorry. Number 11, Suda Finch. Number 12, Eduiti. Number 13, Savage, had a beautiful game yesterday. Number 14, and vice-captain Guthrie. Number 15, my MVP for the second test series, Pamatato. Number 16, with his dancing shoes, winning the Dancing with the Stars between New Zealand and Australia, Damien Darlington. And going to the coaching panel, we have head coach Peter Bentley, assistant coach Pitiawa Black, past open men's player for the Touch Blacks, assisted by Raul Daz, and manager Tony Wall.
No surprise, our officials for the day, world number one referee Maya Williams and Dave Baggio and Matt Lavery from Australia. Probably the best at the referee level, and certainly they'll be looking forward to close out this last match as well. It's Australia now through Barton, makes his way upfield to start off proceedings. It's now into Pete Norman as he makes his way very quickly towards the New Zealand line. It's Dylan Hennessy, long ball out, and it goes to ground. Good defence there from New Zealand straight away. Quick start, but you have to say, George, we're away.
A quick start, and there was a well-structured move there. The ball actually just didn't go to hand. There was so much movement there. I actually didn't know what was going to be happening, what they were going to pull out of the toolbox there. New Zealand in 2s and 1s at the moment, but still getting good yardage through the midfield. Leota back for the third test with a striking drive. Their MVP with a long ball.
Yeah, Matt Prowse had it covered, but the ball didn't quite hit the mark, unfortunately, for New Zealand, but it's now Australia. Yeah, let's look. It's a great ball, though, I suppose, actually, now in hindsight. It was Prowse was there, but that was number 12, Ruti, that couldn't quite bring it in, but now it's Pete Norman back to Hennessy.
Yeah, if we look at that option of a touchdown there, when it went long, we could have seen an option where Australia have been vital, where they tipped the ball back in, which beats the link shutter.
Yeah, Nick Good gets it way out, and it's Matt Prowse. Oh, he's made a clean pair of heels there. Dave Badger likes it. Everyone's cleared that. That's a try. Matt Prowse, he's prolific, Prowse. He really knows how to find the way to the line, but that was a great ball from Hennessy then to, I think it was Good.
Let's have another look at
Hennessy
that one.
there. Back to Nick Good. Great ball, left to rights. Right to lefts, in fact. And Matt Prowse, he snuck in beautifully there under the outstretched arms of Eruti.
Matt Prowse hitting that with speed. It was exceptional speed. Eruti just losing his feet, trying to time the dive to get there, but just not quite there. Gets a touch, but ball was down first. First blood, Australia.
And that's second blood by the looks. Maya Williams likes the look of that. That's a great sliding try and an excellent response from New Zealand straight after the first try. Number 10, Yeoman Ormsby.
Ormsby, one of the pin-up boys of New Zealand Touch, gets through the line there. Yep, he played through. Touchdown to Ormsby.
1-1 here, locked up as Australia make their way back up towards the Kiwi line. And I've got great pleasure to introduce on our sideline here for this match, Pete Walters, old combatant of mine for the New Zealand team for 25 years ago. Can you believe it, Pete? It's been that long.
Yeah, you sort of lose track of time sometimes when you're still been in this game.
So well-constructed try down there, Pete. How did you see it? Really emerged well, and a great response from the Kiwis.
Yeah, I like the way that both teams are running some nice sweep plays. getting guys round, working that retiring toucher. It's good touch.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to hear from Steve Roberts, the ex-Australian men's captain's going to come in and join us here shortly as part of the commentary. So we've got all the legends in for today. This is great to see. So it's New Zealand now, 20 metres out, starting to try to isolate that middle and Stu Brighty, but there's a bit of a space out here, but great shot down there from Jordan Marshall-King. New Zealand now, and in fact, Australia get the ball back. Wow.
Yeah, Baggio from referee calls the ball to ground. Australia did well to get in the line of fire there.
Ooh.
Made it look like he wasn't going for the ball, but he was definitely obstructing it from getting to the player, and it works in their favour, and also followed up by a beautiful penalty, which puts them in a beautiful position.
Bit marginal, I think, that ball from Aussies coming up towards halfway, but Pete Norman gets us away with Ben Moylan now, making his way out wide, 5 metres in from the touchline. Matt Prowse gets it down for him again, brother of Matt, Penrith captain in the NRL, Ben Moylan. Pete Norman from half now, just trying to construct something here with 15, Daniel Barton. It's Norman again. He's sharp. Look at him go through. He's got power. No one there, though. It's gone to ground. Unfortunately to no avail, but Maya Williams sees something there. It looks like someone was held back. How did you see that, George?
Yeah, if we have a look, I see there's some close contact there by Rayhana Suda-Finch. If we could have a look at the replay of that one, we'll see if it was a hold or not. But anyway, they come up trumps from Maya Williams getting a penalty. Australian get another fresh set of 6.
Ben Moylan back to Pete Norman, and the ball snavelled out wide, and he's away. There seems to be some touch. I'm not sure exactly what's happened there, but it must have been the touch affected up at the 10-metre mark.
I tell you what, don't make Rayhana angry. He got penalised there, and he answered the prayers of New Zealand by getting the intercept and stopping Australia from getting a touchdown there.
Yeah, Pete Norman trying to hit there. Ben Moylan out wide with a slide ball, just trying to sort of get on the outside of that leaked defender. But New Zealand were up to the task, and they make their way quickly to halfway, which is a good sign. Oh, unfortunately gone to ground, and Scott Buckley picks up the mess, and it's now back to Prowse and Buckley just to Buddy return out wide as they now work it in field. I think it is to Bundy that time now.
Julian, as we look to the time, it's already 5 minutes gone. It's been a high-paced game, so the time's just slipped away here.
Yeah, Bundy and Hennessy, watch out. Oh, that's a... Normally the Hennessy-Buckley combination is very clinical together. They're actually a very, very good pair in field there together. See, Hennessy goes right, comes left.
Holds it nicely for the pocket.
Tries to get over the top and out the back, but Buckley just came up with nothing. New Zealand again.
It's interesting. It's got Buckley to miss the ball by that much.
Well, we do know he's got a bullet past him, Dylan Hennessy, but he probably didn't expect it to go that quick, is my suspicion. Number 2 now for Mita Graham, the captain, back to 7. It's knocked down from Hennessy.
New Zealand now in a position where they need to be. Some good driving plays there. Now they're on the 5 with a fresh set of 6. Mita Graham at dummy half.
Great long ball, but just gone to ground. Unfortunately, Michael Kavanagh couldn't drag it in. Excuse me.
Unlucky. That was only one touch, and New Zealand didn't take the options there, losing it on the first touch.
Good to Bundy. Dylan Hennessy runs the decoy for Buckley to come around the back as they manage this transition. A little sloppily, though, it's fair to say, and it's Buckley now.
Oh,
it just didn't look good at all. There. Jaden Love ended up with the ball, and that's great field position here for New Zealand now. Pete there right in front of you there with Kavanagh. Pete Walters. Kavanagh with the ball as they make it way. What are they looking to do here, mate?
Well, they did a quickie step back. I mean, most teams seem to be working that open side defence and checking out their save, whether they've got a good alignment, they're working together, they're getting back on the line, then getting quickly off the line. So it's exciting stuff. I like the way the Aussies run 33 peels, and they have a whole lot of different variations of it, whereas New Zealand are running a lot of sweep plays and stepping back into that open side defence.
Yeah, absolutely, Pete. And it's the Aussies now that make their way through Knuckler up well over halfway. Pete Norman now. Hennessy, just a good 20-metre surge there earlier as Hennessy tries to set it up here. He'll shift into acting half here from Barton, going down from him. It's Hennessy away, picks up Norman. This is trouble for Kiwis. That is a great reverse switch back to Knuckler. As he crosses for Australia's second, that's a really well-constructed play, George. See Hennessy from half. Back inside to Norman.
Hennessy's always dangerous, so he's always keeping them guessing. So that time where he's looking to load from right to left on that occasion, New Zealand were expecting that draw the play across, and a late cut came, which created the squeeze from the outside coming in, which allowed for an easy pop-over pass with no pressure on the winger, touchdown.
I see George,
as Steve said earlier, there's a lot of strike power in this Australian team, and when Hennessy, and certainly when Pete Norman's in the mood, they can be lethal. And it's fifth touch now from the Kiwis. Great long ball. Back inside, but just goes to ground again. Bit of push and shove, but it's the Australians that will come off their line now, George, 5 metres out.
Yeah, push and shove's always good. Gives a little bit of heart to this game. Pete, what did you see down there with that touchdown?
George, look, I'm not too sure about that last touchdown. However, I like a lot of the young talent on display here this weekend. For New Zealand, you've got young Connor Pamatato, Narohi Black. There's some really good young kids coming through. Likewise, in the Australian team with young Lachlan Pearce, Jaden Love, Jordan Marshall. Some really great up-and-coming talent. I imagine both countries building this new block towards the World Cup, so having to bring a lot of this young talent through, and it's great.
Yeah, you'll remember well, Pete, the late, great Craig Pearce is the father of Lockie Pearce, in fact, that you played against a long time ago here too, and that's, yeah, he's really emerged in Australia. It's fair to say he had a wonderful Elite 8 Series campaign at Coffs Harbour, winning with the Queensland Cowboys.
Yeah, and certainly showing a lot of the traits of his dad. You know, he was a great player. He grinded hard. He worked well. He's a great team man.
Yeah, indeed. He's emerging, as is most of the Australian midfield now. Nick Good, the captain, trying to get it down. They're crafting something. Jordan Marshall-King now, he's really looking hard for that left to right pass, but it's not quite there. I think it was Bundy trying to get in low. It was, in fact. So it's now New Zealand that has to make a way upfield. So Good back there to Bundy. Bundy gets down for him. Good gets it away, but it's Marshall-King's looking for the long one, but then dummies, feigns to hit a diving Bundy, but he just couldn't quite get there, unfortunately. But it's New Zealand now away.
Yeah, looking back at that play, Peter Walters caught it, those 33 wrap plays, and that was there. And with Marshall having a look, having a pump, and he thought the option was short, the New Zealand defence kept it out wide. Unlucky not to get in there with the dive, but you're calling it, Pete. 33 plays for Australia. Nice.
Georgie, I like the way this game is going. It's a great grind. Both teams are grinding hard. Some good attack, some good defence, and the progress the New Zealand team has made from game one is obvious.
Yeah, certainly it was savage in that replay that showing great enterprise there to number 5, Sean Law, and it's now New Zealand that after a spill from Australia now in again great field position and an excellent spot to potentially convert here. It's a sweeping play back again. 14. They're looking to just isolate it left and then come back right with that long pass left to right, but unfortunately it's just been smothered by the Australians. There's a bit of uncertainty as to what's to happen here. I think it's going to be a 6. It's a penalty, in fact, in New Zealand. Yeah, see it here again. So it's like Guthrie just trying to squeeze that ball out, but Jordan Marshall trying to smother it. But
yeah, it was an interesting call. He had hands all for Hal Leather there in there, and he was going to get away with that and ball to ground for New Zealand, but lucky the penalty came.
We didn't quite catch what happened there in the interim, but anyway, it's Australia that's 10 metres away, and they'll start to surge hard, manage this transition to the sub-boxes. They do well. 3 touches now, almost to get to halfway, and it's Hennessy now, 4th, right on halfway. Norman, now Hennessy, sorry. Yeah, well played there from Norman and Hennessy. Is very crafty, these two. It's they know not to challenge too hard the referee in his decision making, but they obviously was compelling there, just off balance there, drew the penalty. Now it's Buckley and Hennessy.
In games like this, mate, I like to see a little bit of physicality there. It's quite interesting. The referee caught a penalty on that one. Dylan Hennessy had no option in trying to stay stable in that one because he had both hands on the ball. So, you know, he has a right to stabilise himself in that situation.
Yeah, Aussie's just trying to repeat phase there that just almost got away. Hennessy off his right. Here's that double phase play again. Norman looking left, right. Oh, my goodness. What a great ball. He had options either way, but Stuart Bridie almost went over, but he goes over this time. All the way from WA. Stuart Bridie, what a great try. Hennessy right, bang, down for Norman. Norman looks left. Looks right. Then comes back left with a great flick ball. Stu Bridie. Wow, what a great try.
Yeah, as we go down to Pete, mate, there's just far too many options with these Australian players. The skill set is high. With Dylan Henderson having all the tools in the cabinet, you know, here's a step there, here's the long ball. And in that phase, he just went to a quick dump, which allowed for Norman to do the miracles. What are you thinking, Pete?
Yeah, look, they have some great set-piece play that they run, and obviously there are variations and adjustments of that depending on what the defence is doing. Great stuff.
Well, that's a great immediate strike back again from New Zealand. I think it was number 10, Jamin Orsby. But Rob Knuckler seemed to have that covered, but something happened there just down the flank as we go to the replay here shortly. But it's a fantastic reply from New Zealand. We strike that down to Jamin Ormsby. That's a fantastic response.
If we look at the score, it's 3 touchdowns to 2. It looks like Australia would be dominating if you're watching this game, but there's only 1 touchdown in it.
That ball really wasn't on from a diving Bundy there, and in fact it draws the penalty to New Zealand. You know, I think that is fair. As you say that, as Lockie Pearce makes the touch, George, that New Zealand, they'll be pretty happy with this. In fact, it's actually set up very well for them, this game, as opposed to the last 2 where the Aussies got away from them. I think they'll feel, as Pete, you'd say too, they're in the grind. Number 5 drives upfield, Sean Law, and they draw the penalty, and this is excellent play for New Zealand.
Yeah, definitely. We talk about staying in the grind and keeping your composure and not going away from what are your set plays, what are your set policies, because if you grind well and you fight for that territory game, then your stuff will happen because it's not relying on random plays or just 1 or 2 guys. It's a whole team working together.
Yeah, nice one, Pete. Everyone talks about this grind, and it's very important, hoping for a mistake to happen. You just keep battling it out. And the way it's going, if New Zealand stay on the grind here and keep it within 1 or even get a draw out of this going into the second half, how they stood up yesterday in the second half and won that second half, you know, who knows who's going to win this battle today.
Yeah, well, that was great defence from Australia there. Sean Francis closed down a couple of times there. Some of repeat raids from the Kiwis to the Australian line, but again, put off balance. David Baggio won't be drawn into a penalty though, and it's Pete Norman again and Stu Bridie. They'll make their way over halfway, and they'll be really pushing hard here to get towards the line. Norman Hennessy, that spells danger signs for New Zealand here shortly.
Yeah, you spoke about all these good players, Pete, throughout the tournament. Let's go back a few years and, whoa, no, stop the press.
Sorry, George, you could just feel something brewing, in fact, mate, when they got over halfway. When Hennessy and Norman get together, it is just quite remarkable what they can do, and they didn't even have to do too much as we look at the replay. Hennessy, usually the recipient, usually the deliverer, but now he's the recipient of Peter Norman. Don't quite have the replay, unfortunately, but what we saw 20 metres out was Pete Norman just shot through. There it is, Hennessy getting it down. Engaged number 5 too, but Norman has got blistering speed out of half. Look at that. Gets around the back of the referee, and Johnny on the spot, Dylan Hennessy. What a great try.
Couldn't get any easier for Dylan Hennessy on that occasion. So what I need to do now, every time Dylan Hennessy and Peter Norman gets the ball, I'll just shut up, eh?
Look, I think it's probably the reverse of what the Kiwis need to do, but here's a breakout. This guy does love an intercept. Scott Buckley, he's flying, but he probably does need Dr. Prowse out in the wide to the left, and that's an excellent breakout try. Disappointing for New Zealand, I know, but certainly that's well constructed in the end, and I hope that New Zealand guy out wide.
What an amazing chase by Rehan Asuda.
The captain made a Graham down.
He was within millimetres of making that touch. Scott Buckley, all the way. Determination on his face. He knows he can't get there. He goes out to the doctor, looking wide. Ooh, yeah, ball in the rib cage there.
It was Suta Finch, in fact, that landed on the ball. He'll be winded. And for some time, by the looks, as Matt Prowse makes his way around the back, it's Australia blows out now by 3 to 5-2 at half-time. That's an excellent half from both teams. It is set up well now.
That's his double for the day, Matt Prowse.
I think we're just having a little bit of a timeout here while the guy, he is in the field of play, so it is stop the clock. While we go to stop the clock, Pete, when I was going back to it, we're talking about the young players today. Now we're going to talk about the old players of yesterday. They get an opportunity this year at the next year in April at the World Masters game held here in New Zealand. 25,000 competitors. And would you be entering this event?
Yeah, our club Galaxy, we're going to have quite a number of teams running there from the 30s through to the 50s, so really looking forward to that. A lot of those players have actually been here over the weekend watching all the young talent here, and yeah, it'll be good to catch up with a lot of people there. It's a huge event, the World Masters Games, and yeah, really looking forward to it. It's a great sport hours where you can catch up with a lot of friends that you've made over all those years, you know, and play competitive sport against
Yeah,
them.
and that's what it's about. It's going to be the biggest event in the world for participation with 20,000 competitors.
Wow.
You're going to be a part of it. You talked about Galaxy 30-year anniversary. There's teams all around the world part of your club. How many countries are you talking about?
Well, we're in 10 countries, a Galaxy club, and we're going to have 5 of those countries that are coming over, like Scotland, England, USA. So we're really excited.
Oh, it's going to be an amazing experience. Julian, as we go back to the game, we talked about the grind in the sense where New Zealand needs to keep in it, but there was a little slip play there where Australia got 2 little sneaky ones, and all of a sudden it's 3 up to Australia.
Yeah, just watching there, the New Zealand middles and Nahori Black, you know, instrumental, just trying to sort of catch the Aussie defenders unawares, but here's Australia now 5 metres out. Knuckler, long ball back inside, just to try to draw back, engage these middle defenders. Nick Good now to get down for Lockie Pearce. Has been relatively quiet here, but he gets it away out to that ball really not on again. But yeah, a bit of an indifferent finish there for the Aussies, but certainly New Zealand will make their way out. My apologies before, it was a break in play, not half time. In fact, the
no problem.
Graham gets us away.
It's that close. I think we're down to the last 30 seconds, maybe even less. There's a lot of hands on hips or hands on knees here for the New Zealand team. They're digging deep. If they can get that nice harsh team talk from the captain and come up with a second half, who knows? New Zealand, when we were down by 4 or 5 tries at one stage, and it was within 1 point, so anything can happen today.
Yeah, that ball drifting very, very wide and forward, it seemed to Kavanagh, but they draw the penalty in New Zealand. There must have been a bit of an indiscretion in the midfield, as it's Guthrie, the vice captain, constructing some play there to Nahori Black. To Leoto, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Down for Kavanagh. Leoto.
Yeah, Leoto will be hungry. He sat down the second test. He's a playmaker from the Canterbury scene. He's been living over in Australia. He's got an awesome... Just as I spoke about, talking about his long ball, left to right, you saw it on that occasion, and the winger received and looked for that flick and play. Unfortunately, it was a little bit low. Here we go on the replay.
Oh.
It was
Great
that
skills.
quick, it even left the camera behind. If that quick went to hand, it would have been a touchdown, New Zealand.
Excellent play from Kavanagh there. Just really good position to look for that bat back. That just wasn't quite there, unfortunately, but New Zealand looking really threatening, and now it's Australia through Hennessy and Buckley. This could be a bit menacing for the Kiwis, and Hennessy trying to see that the defender might have been up, but Baggio thought otherwise.
Yeah, I could have been with you on that one. He was asking the question if he was onside or not. He put him into a trap, but on that day, well, how's your uncle? Oh, that's no good.
Well, on
The
the
man
stroke
that's
at half
playing
time,
well
it was
throughout the series, Connor Pamato's gripping his shoulder. Hopefully there's nothing major here, and then you can get some of that magic water all the way from Auckland and sprinkle it over there, and he'll be back for the second half. I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to leave it over to Steve Roberts, who's been watching this game from my side. I'll hand the mic to him, and he can give us an update as I leave it with Julian and Pete for a while.
Yeah, look, that's an outstanding half of football. You know, 7 tries, Australia asserting some dominance, no doubt about it, with some very sharp sniping style tries, but certainly Pete Norman and Buckley and Hennessy very instrumental in the middle. But, you know, New Zealand will take heart there. They know that it's only a 3-try gap, and if they take any notes from the women's game, they're right in this, and they should look to certainly look to hold Australia back from trying to get this clean sweep. And I think that, you know, that this is back to the New Zealand men's to try to negate that. Pete, how do you see this now as they get in the huddle? It's pretty interesting, isn't it, that the Aussies have broken now out to 8 straight wins in the series. The New Zealand men's, they'll be looking to obviously look for some respect out of this, but, you know, they'll be looking for the win, no doubt about it, hey?
Oh, yeah, I'd say they'd still be going for a win. I mean,
the Australian team's certainly been playing.
Sorry, Pete, and then Steve.
Sorry, was I think you did right, Julian. They'll be looking to, like I say, stay in the grind, keep their composure. Hopefully they've got 1 or 2 variations up their sleeve on what their attack plays are that they're going to run in this half. And just work hard.
Yeah, that's right, Pete. And certainly from Steve, your perspective, certainly you've been in this position very recently. You know the guys very well as we look at the highlights here from earlier on with the anthems and the first half play. Steve, what is it that the Aussies will be looking to do now from here?
Oh, I think they'll be looking for Pete Norman, Dylan Hennessy. They certainly had a very good first half. Tradie will be happy with the fact that there's only been 2 tries scored because New Zealand had a fair bit of the field position and the ball come late in the first half.
Certainly, in talking to Tradie and his assistants, it's of some concern that they try to limit at least the long ball damage that the Kiwis can assert, on the Aussies, and I think that certainly has been limited in the first half. They've closed them down in the middle, but there have been some great tries from New Zealand. And as we see there with Buckley, there's been a few near misses from the Aussies as well. But Hennessy's been instrumental, and Pete Norman, they're quite remarkable when they get in this mood, Steve.
Yeah, they've got the New Zealand defence guessing, that's for sure. Dylan seems to be sort of taking the players on and then creating a bit of second phase for Pete Norman to scoop through, and Pete's got a lot of pace, so as soon as a player's out of position, he'll take advantage of that.
Yeah, great inside ball there to Stu Bridie. He had a chuckle.
Get that down.
Yeah, it's a bit of gamesmanship there, but certainly Kiwi struck back well late, and it's certainly if you look at the Women's Open, the way they fought back hard was a real credit to them, and hopefully through that try from Jamin Ormsby, they can actually start to move ahead. And as we look down at the sideline, I think it's Phoenix with us now. Yeah.
Yeah, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, good. How do you see it from here, Phoenix? It's 2-5 down.
Yeah, I didn't even realise the score. I thought it was a bit closer than that. Aussie scored 2 quick tries there at the end, though. Aussie's looking well. Same with New Zealand. It's just Aussie's a bit sharper and quicker at the moment.
Yeah, as we're here at the Trust Arena here in Auckland, it's an opportunity now. I think as we look at the start of this new cycle, it's 4 years out now to the next World Cup. A very, very dominant Australia that won, very convincingly against New Zealand in Coffs Harbour in Australia. They'll certainly be looking, both teams, to the next year's Super Trans Tasman in Australia, in New South Wales, and take some heart out of this game, because I think certainly from the women's and the mixed, the men's are really stepping up here from New Zealand, and I think Australia will be certainly on high alert. So, Steve, a couple of minutes now to go. Just what's your thoughts, mate, in coaching, obviously, the Japan team and internationally? How are you placed now in terms of looking at the Japan team, but now in the curious position of sitting in this box, watching the guys do their stuff?
Yeah, what a difference a year makes, really, isn't it? I enjoyed my time playing, and I would love to be out there still. But as we've seen with the young crop coming through, the future of Australian touch is certainly in good hands. And I spoke to Midda yesterday after the game, and he was happy with the performance of the New Zealand young players. And I know they've had a lot of new players come through, so everyone's building towards the World Cup in 2019. These sort of test matches along the way help prepare for that.
So put you both on the spot, Phoenix, Steve. Phoenix, you first. You must miss this now. You got the game on the line, half time, last 20 minutes. It's time to really fire up, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I definitely do miss it. Although I'm enjoying what I'm doing at the moment. Always look forward to these kind of moments, and I'm not too shy to be out there as well. So.
Well, as we see these stars of the future, as we see Ormby make his way towards the line, it's a great enterprising play there, and it looks like it was Sinclair. In fact, it's a penalty that's drawn. Maya Williams, he's actually signalling someone was hanging onto a shirt there.
Bit of shirt grabbing going on.
There we are, a bit of shirt fronting. And Nick Good, now the Australian captain, will take it away from 5 at Pete Norman to half. Will pick up Buckley on the charge.
Yeah, yesterday the boys were saying yesterday there was a bit of shirt grabbing yesterday, so referee Myers picked it up today and penalised the men guilty of it.
Yeah, so it's Jordan Marshall-King now inside to Good, but he can't hold on to it. Now it's New Zealand again. We'll look to charge through over halfway and put the Aussies back a little bit on their haunches. So it's number 3 now. It's Sinclair making his way.
The New Zealanders certainly looked like a lot more dangerous yesterday when they had the punch going forward, putting the Australian players on the back foot. just another simple error there. It's those little things, I think, are costing New Zealand a few tries.
Yeah, Taylor Hoare, he seemed to get in the right position to get around the back. Here's the shirt pulling now. Oh, can we say the pant pulling? My goodness.
How did we miss that?
I'll have to talk to Pete Norman about his sponsors product underneath too. He's probably got the wrong garments on. So another story.
Let's just be happy he's got something on.
Sean Francis, indeed. Ben Moylan now makes his way. I don't think we've ever seen that before, Steve. That's outrageous. Daniel Barton makes his way through all the way from Parramatta. Can he find someone out wide? He does. A fantastic try to Lockie Pearce. Daniel Barton ran the arc, Steve, and then picks up Lockie Pearce with the hat backwards.
Yeah, we've talked about Pete Norman and Dylan Hennessy, but Daniel Barton's actually done that a couple of times throughout the test. He's been able to scoot through and find someone, an unmarked player, and Lachlan Pearce was the recipient of that one and gets the ball down nicely.
Yeah, Pete, how did you see that? You're on the side. I'm sorry, Phoenix, you're on the sideline there, close to the line. Just seemed to just sneak through there, Daniel Barton, just cutting through and picking up Lockie on the dive.
Yeah, he snuck through there and he did a real awkward arc there, but it worked for them, and I thought there was a touch on the try line, but they got away with it, so good try.
I agree with Steve. He's very deceptive, Barton, isn't he? He's very tall and quite lanky, you know, and as a long ball goes out from New Zealand now, it's a great flick pass, but no real control, and it's back to Hennessy on the wing. Has he got the toe, Steve? He looked as if he's going to kick ahead.
He was looking for support straight away, I think. No.
Pete Norman and Bryant, he shifted wide. That's great hands from Prowse.
Hands like a surgeon.
Not the bare hands like a surgeon, indeed. Better than being a sturgeon. So it's now Lockie Pearce picks up Dylan Hennessy inside Pearce. This looks dangerous. So it's Bundy now. He's just getting to the right there. Well done.
It's probably a good thing that he gave away the penalty there, because Lachlan Pearce was looming up to take the scoop, and he's got a fair bit of skill, Lachlan Pearce.
Dear oh dear, New Zealand, you've got the Queensland New South Wales country best here in Bundy, Hennessy and Pearce probing here towards the line. 10 out now. Hennessy off that big right, left us. Pearce just couldn't quite get the footing or the space. Just trying to isolate that defender, but it's all too much for Hennessy right now as he tries. And it's getting a little tetchy out there. A little talk, which is always good. Very willing. Dylan Hennessy, when he gets in this mood, it's quite exciting for Australians because it means he cares and really wants to get Mornby out. And back to Hennessy. Big, look at the hands on this guy. Nicholas Good, back to Prowse. Looking inside to Pearce, but wasn't quite there, Steve.
No, he did well there. He pumped long and hit short and looking for the second phase. The winger has done well there to get his hand in the way. So
it's Hennessy again, bang off the right. That's an intercept picked up. Look at this. Who's got the toe here? It's a foot race. It's number 12, Ederitu. I think he's got the toe. He should get there. 10 metres out and dives and gets there. Didn't really need to dive, but it was spectacular nonetheless.
Well, he got his hand involved in the previous play to save a try, and then he's come up with the same play again and actually caught it this time to run the length, and he just got missed by Lachlan Pearce and had the legs to get there.
Yeah, they really needed this, Phoenix. That was a great breakout, mate.
Yeah, Reddy's been around for a while, so he's got good experience in this. Like Stevie said, he played at the last one when he got that one there, luckily, so showed some toe there too, Reddy.
Yeah, it's a really valiant dive there. I think it was Scott Bundy outstretched, but just couldn't quite get there. Great effort, though, to try to chase it down. It's now Jaden Love.
Great effort chasing, but nice finish as well.
Yep. Benny Moylan now down for Barton. It's Buckley on the charge. He's quick. Moylan and Buckley, the Penrith duo. Trying to construct something here in midfield. It's Buckley trying to get in low. Probably wasn't there, though, for Barton. Did his best to sneak through, Steve, but just not there.
Still a good play. Keeps the New Zealand defence guessing, but a great touch there to save the try.
Yep, New Zealand surging upfield now. Phoenix, they're just starting to get into their sub-box transition. They're doing this very well, in fact. They've got a really, really good roll on here.
Yeah, they need to get back into the fight there, and hopefully with maybe a finish here, or if not a ending close to their box, and then force some D.
Yeah, so you see there, New Zealand, they did make their way there, but probably ran out of touches, unfortunately. Australia would be happy with that. They're 10 metres out through Moylan.
They seem to have a bit more wind in their sail after that intercept try, so
yep.
It's a bit better drive off the Kiwis there.
Yeah, indeed. Barton now infield to Buckley. It's Francis drifting infield now. Both wingers in, Steve. They can't be on. Pete Norman, Scott Buckley. Norman, great ball. Picks up Bridie wide. He gets down low and dives low. Badger likes it, and so does Stu Bridie.
Another great finish by Stuart Bright. You know, we didn't have to worry
Fantastic.
about the wingers being in there.
That's right. There's a nice little mix-up as we see here. That's Pete Norman, another great long ball. See how Bright he just gets down really low. Oh, you could have to... There's a great effort, in fact.
We might have to look at that one. He might have been a bit short.
This might have to go to the bunker, perhaps. It just seemed to roll on his arm. Seemed to be down with pressure, but just not sure on the control. But anyway, nonetheless, Australia strike back at... And a good strike back, it's fair to say, too. It was really something they need to get... another try notched on the board, Steve, as Kiwis going here.
Take that wind out of the sails, but here come the Kiwis again.
Yep, Narhorty Black. The combination with Leota, unfortunately, it looked dangerous for Australia.
Run out of touches there.
Phoenix from here. Oh, here we go, the replay.
Ooh.
Oh, very questionable. And if we look at it here, slowed it right up. This is a great action replay. So it just looks like Stu Bright is short.
Are you giving the green light or the red light?
I don't think I'm in the power to give either. But but David Baggio sees green, and as an Australian, we'll be happy with that. But probably not so. New Zealand, Jordan Marshall hands the ball over, and it's New Zealand 10 metres out. Phoenix working their way out. What do they do from here, mate?
Oh, they spread the ball nicely there. They need to punch forward, though. They lost their way a little bit.
Phoenix, that's Narhorty Black. Over halfway. Thanks, Steve. It's Sean Law now. Where do we see it from here? Phoenix coming in 10 metres.
Oh, with Mitz out there and Matty, hopefully they did a good job for Matty and he throws a good left to right pass. But yeah, they can be unpredictable, the boys, so hopefully they get it down here.
Yeah, sure, it's good enterprise. That's a great ball. It seemed to drift forward. Matt Lavery says exactly that. But yeah, Sutta Finch, we have a look at the replay again, perhaps. But it was a really, really nice long ball, and I think it was from Sean Law, in fact, in midfield. Anyway, the ball's gone adrift, but here we go. So, looking right, and there was Sean Law. He was off balance, but the ball did drift forward, but probably near impossible to take into from Sutta Finch.
They need to start taking those opportunities, otherwise time won't be on their side.
Yeah, 7-3. Australia's pushed out to 4 now. They'll be going in for the kill, literally. Sean Francis now. Hennessy. Bundy and Good now in midfield. In really good position here. Hennessy looming large out the back, as we see here with a great... Oh, actually threw it to nobody, which is a little unfamiliar for Dylan Hennessy. There was no one there. Got George Jonke back in the chair. Thank you, Steve, for those comments and insights. It was great to have you in. Really appreciate him giving his time, and he's relishing his off-field duties now, Steve Roberts, but great to have you back, George.
Oh, awesome. It's great to be in the seat of Steve Roberts. Hopefully I get a lot of his knowledge from sitting in this chair that he's been in. Steve Roberts, a legend within the game. Great to hear his thoughts on the game and also what he's doing for Japan at the moment. Excellent campaign, going over to Japan, do a couple of training camps over there. A lot of investment from Australia, a lot of investment from Japan to put them back on the map for the World Cup next time round.
Yes, we're very excited, absolutely. Australia, Touch Football Australia, we're very, very proud to announce that we signed a memorandum of understanding and agreement with Japan Touch Association recently to bring them into the international fold and give them a lot more coaching and playing opportunities and development options. And it's terrific to see them here competing and doing very, very well, in fact.
Yeah, it's always good to see another country rising in the ranks and make it nice and tight for the yellow and green and the all black crew out there.
So Phoenix now with only a few minutes to go. New Zealand on the surge. Looks like it's Matt Sinclair from dummy half. He's done well there. Picks up a flying Damien Darlington, but just to no avail. 10 to go. Where do you see it from here, Phoenix?
Oh, they got to start going back to what was working for them a few minutes ago, was going straight up the park, and then hopefully off the end of a scoop they can beat some players and find someone open.
Yeah, so it's Hennessy and back to Knuckler making his way off. Hennessy will go to the sub box, and he's been his feathers are ruffled a little bit somewhat. New Zealanders are giving him a testing time out there. It's very willing and a lot of talk, which is always good to see because the competitiveness is very, very strong. Pete Norman's just batted that back, but unfortunately the NFL style, and Dave Baggio gives the correct sanction for a forward pass, and New Zealand again
Julian, if you give you a quick update on Connor Palmatato, has he managed to make it back out there on the field after that knock he had at the end of the first half?
I don't believe so. I've been looking at the sub box to see if he actually has emerged again. But yeah, I think it was one of those really difficult dives that just not so much just wins you, but he could have actually done maybe even some ligament damages to ribs. It was unfortunate for him, but I hope he's back with us soon.
Yeah, hopefully it's nothing major and it's just a tweak or something. And wow, nice chop in the hole there. 2 Australians calling the claims, and I'm sure they were just touches, but just touches are just enough.
Yeah, it was Barton there as the saver. Cleans up behind Pete Norman there, and it's Barton and Norman again making their way out. There's Ben Moylan on the charge. Pete Norman back inside to Lockie Pearce. Barton again to Moylan. Lockie Pearce. Probing from dummy half Pearce. He's very dangerous in this position. Looking in, not quite there, but he gets the penalty.
Let's have a look at this one. What's going on? We've got the Maya Williams taking the control ref all the way back to the 10-metre line. Let's see what his call is. Put 7 fingers up. He's not asking for 7 sandwiches. He's actually calling 7 on the field. So if you've got 7 on the field, that's 1 too many. As we all know, you can only have 6.
Well, I also know Steve Robertson's pretty good at maths. What do we see over there, Steve? Has anything gone amiss in the sub box?
It must have. I didn't see it, and I'm sure Tradi's not going to be happy that because Australia looked like they were going to put on another try.
Yeah, well, Lockie Pearce was very confused at the time too, so they've got to fix up that sub box transition. As New Zealand now, 10 metres out, it's Nahori Black.
Yeah, on that occasion, it was going to be a penalty Australia. It was reversed to be a penalty New Zealand. And wait a second. Let me hold my tongue once again.
That's a try. That's great play from Nahori Black. He picked up a flying, I think it was Taylor Hoare. And, yeah, Nahori Black just split away. Everything looked okay, but I just think the Aussies have some problem with the grounding of the ball, but that didn't matter. New Zealand
I think what Scott Buckley is asking the referee is about the little push off there by Tama Guthrie. There was nothing much in it. There was maybe a slight little nudge. Tama Guthrie acted it out quite well and managed to get the ball down first.
Yeah, so it's 7-4 now. The gap only 3. Pete Norman picks up Hennessy.
Flying shut by Michael Kavanagh, just coming out of nowhere, shutting in on that link, putting the opening out wide, but because he was turned in, there was no way he was going to get the pass there.
This is international footy at its best because they're really starting to test each other out now. The patience is wearing thin on both teams. They're actually pushing each other to the limit here, Norman and Hennessy. Hennessy picks up a flying. Look at that. What a response. Pick and choose. Which way do you want to go? Well, Scott Buckley has the last laugh after the last touchdown. He... see Hennessy there, off his right again, that dangerous right footstep. Then Buckley, ever present and always close by. He knows it's down. New Zealanders think otherwise, but I think that's a great, well-constructed try.
Yeah, pinpoint actually from Dylan Hennessy once again. Good vision to see which hole was open, whether it was the wing or the link. Hits the link. Nice dive by Josh Leota. If the touch counted when he was up high, it definitely was a touch, but I think the referee saw it as the hand went over and touched him on the back of the leg.
Yeah.
There goes the chop again.
Well constructed. Ben Moylan just very good in defence there. Just managed to close down that cut here and against New Zealand.
Nahori Black loads up to the winger.
Great ball. Kavanagh
catches
diving an outstretch,
it low,
but
in the same motion, has a stretch out dive.
Rob Knuckler, good play there from him in defence. He's been pretty strong out wide for the Aussies and muscled up. Yeah, affects the touch well. Just well before Kavanagh got it down. Have a look again. Knuckler. Yep.
Yeah, he just had to load up a little bit to get the ball out. So if the ball was out in front a little bit further, it would have been ball down first, but he had to load up to put it forward.
It looks a bit simultaneous, doesn't it, when you see it in the action replay, but at the time, real time, it looked as if he got him well before. But anyway, that gap now to 4 will suit the Aussies, not so much the Kiwis. They've got to strike back. It's Jordan Marshall-King now. The Aussies really trying to finish off their plays here. They've been clinical all series. Bundy now, 10 metres out. Good to King. Gets down low, my goodness. He got down real low, real quick, but that's a great touch. Bit of push and shove here
Yeah,
again
there's a lot of
from
emotion
Taylor
out
Hoare.
there. Everyone's testing each other out.
They're
You saw in
enjoying
the
it.
last set of when Australia were on the line, there was a bit of banter going on. You got to love that stuff because it's a nice friendly rivalry between the two countries. No one wants to give an inch, but actually in the battle here, Australia is winning that one.
Bundy outstretched. Taylor Hoare affected the touch before, but look, that's a fantastic response from Scott Bundy that time. Lovely outstretched arm. See Nick Good straight away, the quickie. Back to Bundy,
Nice
down
finish.
and close, but geez, I think he just got it down though.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of banter going on, an exchange of words. Unless you can D them out or put a couple of notches on your belt with touchdowns, the team that gets the score is always going to have the upper hand.
Yeah, absolutely. As New Zealand now, they've tried to strike back through their 14. Team Guthrie and vice captain and 15. Oh, well played. There's no problem there, but there seems to be well, certainly a try. Don't worry
Buckley's
about the
saying
chat from the Aussies.
He's pulling his shirt, either asking for a hold or a touch. I'd love to see what happened here.
Yep. I can't see much wrong with that at all. In fact, and that
What's
is a
Buckley
great
asking
try.
for? There must be something earlier where New Zealand
Damien
held him
Darlington.
back earlier or something like that. He's not happy.
He's not happy, but Damien Darlington certainly is. He's gone over for his first try of the game. And New Zealand now strike back to 9-5. They'll be pleased with that. I can tell you right now, Coach Tony Trad will not be. Pete Norman.
Oh, Pete Norman once again from dummy half. Beautiful
Look at
scoop. Looks with the hook pass. New Zealand get an intercept. Back on attack. Ray Hunter Finch.
Norman always makes his way
doing
through.
his damage.
He's very, very sharp on his
Natalie
feet.
Black
but
out of
Nahori
the
Black.
blocks.
So it's New Zealand again. So Sean Law. Matt Sinclair, I'm sorry. Nahori Black. He's been dangerous, hasn't he, George?
He has. And he's been pretty lethal on the 5. He's a bit quiet in the first half. He did his own in the second half and come up with a setup for a try or scoring one himself. He was pretty lethal in the first test match, scoring 2 from 2 on the 5. And Australia obviously did their homework to shut him out of the game a little bit.
Steve, we know how willing it gets in these international test matches. I'd dearly love to hear your thoughts right now, what's going through the minds and the mouths of these Aussies and Kiwis up against each other.
Yeah, as George mentioned, there's a bit of push and shove, but I think it's good for the game. Brings a bit of passion. It's all well and good after we walk off the field. So the Kiwis are looking sharp as we see.
Oh!
Well,
no,
denied.
Ormsby going for the hat trick.
Great footwork by Medigo to get through.
Peter
just
Norman
couldn't-
putting his hands up there, Steve Roberts. I don't know what he's asking for. There's a lot going on that we're missing on the...
I think as they're going in for the dump, I think the Australians are claiming that the touch blacks are grabbing their shirts.
Okay.
I'm not confirming or denying that they're doing it. I'm just saying that's what the Australians are claiming.
I don't know if it's Scott Buckley's got a problem with the too much sweat in his shirt because he's actually pulling on that front a lot, but he's it's certainly very willing out there, Steve, isn't it? There's a lot of banter, there's a lot of
It
pushing.
definitely is, I think.
Yeah.
Australia have just lost their way a little bit with their drive. They've got to get back into the field position, get back into the grind, and then take control a bit more of this game.
You certainly see, Steve, that 4 tries against, not going to worry too much the coach, but 5, yeah, that's going to not please him too much, no.
Yeah, he wouldn't be too happy with it, but let's not forget one of them was an intercept, so 5 is not ideal, but he wouldn't be too disappointed.
Well, there it is. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, George. That is an outstanding quality test match at the highest level. There you have it. It's Australia that runs out winners in the end. 3-game series locked up and a 9-5 victory here. How did you see it, George and Steve? Certainly start with you, George. That's a very clinical display, Aussies.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Clinical is one word that I was going to use. The next word I'm going to use is stars. Australia have stars, and they are executioners, extremists. As you could see with Dylan Hennessy, I always refer to that young gentleman who is probably renowned as the best in the world. Pinpoint accuracy, this timing. He just managed to slow the game every time. And when he goes from dummy half, looking for the right option, the difference between him and some of the New Zealand players, his pinpoint accuracy is hitting the person right on the mark finishes it nicely. He was a big difference. Obviously, out of dummy half, we had Peter Norman, another outstanding game. He's coming off the back end of last year, being the top player at the World Cup final in the Open Men's. When you got stars like that and the new upcoming players like Lachlan Pearce, he's been exceptional for me. I saw a little bit of a highlights package of him, the NRL Superstars game there, so he was someone that we're looking for as well to show in this light here.
Certainly, Steve, Lockie Pearce, probably relatively quiet, in terms of, like, as George says, the stars really did align for the Aussies, and everyone stood up. Hard to pick out, like, all the match winners because each of them work so well as a unit. But Lockie Pearce, his form, obviously, at the with the Queensland Cowboys, he was really, really amazing in the Elite 8 series, wasn't he? And, it's his first real sort of chance to show his wares in the international stage. How do you think he went?
Yeah, he did his job. As you said, you can't really pinpoint one play, although I thought Dylan and Pete Norman were pretty special in this game. But Lachlan did his job, and just from the Elite 8, I nicknamed him Silky. The amount of time the man has with the ball in his hands is phenomenal, and he rarely makes a mistake and always keeps the defence guessing, goes for the line, throws a pass. So, yeah, he's a quality player.
Yeah, they both stood up, no doubt about it. And, they had great support. It's almost that second wave of support. People like Daniel Barton and certainly... and Scott Buckley too, and Scott Bundy too, and others like that, very much a key part of this team. Stu Bridie, obviously equally effective, getting over for his regulation tries, and Matt Prowse the same. It's a great unit and a really, really solid foundation for next year's Super Trans Tasman. We swing to the highlights of the match. But over to you, George.
Yeah, just before we swing to the highlights, Julian, you caught it very well. Your good reading of the game, Mr. Buckmaster, and Steve Roberts, you're exceptional out there. It's great to have you guys as part of the announcement team. It was a privilege to learn off you guys and see how it goes and get the experience and understand how it works for the Australian crew, and also identifying what's happening with the New Zealand. You added another dimension to our game here. A lot of people back at home will be enjoying the insight on how the game's played at the top level, especially with you, Steve Roberts, talking about the emotion and love a bit of physicality, because obviously in New Zealand the first point is it's game of touch, but when we come to here, like my good friend Tana Umanga said, we're not playing tiddlywinks and we like a bit of contact in there. I'm going to leave it with you guys. I'm going to go and join the captains down on the bottom, but thank you very much from the New Zealand team. Thank you very much from the New Zealand audience.
Thanks for having us.
It's a real pleasure, George and Steve. Yeah, we're very, very pleased to join the audience here in New Zealand. It's always a tremendous honour to get across here. And
George said that he learned a bit off us, so I hope we didn't teach him too much.
Well, this is the point too, Steve. We've all generally pretty poker-faced as Australians, but it's certainly been wonderful to be able to be here and to witness the re-emergence of New Zealand, though it's fair to say. They're looking very sharp, and they're always very, very hard to beat here, Steve.
Yeah, they certainly are. I found that out in 2013 where we went 2-0 down in the series. We got them in the third game, but yeah, they're very hard to beat. They're very passionate, and they stand together proud with their colours. So as do the Australians. But so that's why there's a bit of physicality in the game isn't too bad. I had a great respect and time with Mida as captain. So there's no love lost when we're on the field, and yeah, always fun.
Well, certainly the welcoming function on the Wednesday night at the Manhattan function facility here in Auckland was a wonderful tribute to the sport and the great international flavour that is the makeup and fabric of this great sport, and it's terrific to join in the traditional Maori welcomes and hukas throughout, and the respect shown, to Japan and certainly to all of our friends from New Zealand was a wonderful evening, and just great to be part of too, Steve, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was sensational. I gave a big pat on the back to whoever organised that. It was great to get to know other people, and as you said, get amongst the culture and the tradition of the Maori people. So yeah, it was a great experience, and I'm lucky to be part of it.
Well, we even had a little bit of Australian culture just emerged on the night too, with Tony Trad giving us a great rendition of Dancing with the Stars as well, which was always well received.
Yes, New Zealand can be happy with the fact that they walked away with the first Dancing with the Stars, Trans Tasman.
Absolutely, it was wonderful. Really good to be part of. But look, this has been the week. We've had a fantastic international series format before, preceding this Trans Tasman series, and you know, we've, as we say, been very, very pleased to be here. But look, the Australians are going to be very, very happy. It's an incredible result last year, we know, at the World Cup, and certainly the way that the Australian contingent have been preparing for this has been very serious and very focused and composed, because we do know how hard it is to beat the Kiwis on their home soil. But to walk away, Steve, with a clean sweep across all divisions, it's the first time it's ever happened. Australians are going to be very, very proud.
Yeah, they will be. They've got the hashtag one team, and that's exactly what they did. They stood by each other, and the clean sweep is always good, especially in the backyard, because we know how hard it is to play New Zealand here. But New Zealand can go away and they can learn from a few things. They definitely did well in the women's to come back. They took it to the wire in the mixed and the women's in the first games, and you know, Australia ran away with it in the second game, but the third game again was tight. So they've got a lot to be proud of, the New Zealanders, but take nothing away from Australia. It was a job well done.
Yeah, thank you there, Steve. That's great insight, and it's here's a great little pieces we throw to George, to the interviews. It's from one outgoing captain to the incoming captain, Nick Good and Steve Roberts, giving each other a nice embrace, passing the baton on to each other. That's a great moment there. In
Test match number 3, New Zealand Open Men's take on Australia. 9-5. Australia prevail for the third and final test of the series. I'm here with Mitza Graham. He's going to talk us through this game. It was great to watch. There was some moments there of brilliance by New Zealand and some moments there of brilliance of Australia. I'm sure our man over there is going to talk us through it. But right now, you just tell me about the positives out there, mate.
We're pretty proud of the way that we started the game. We talked last night about how we did well in the second half, and I thought we brought a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy, and more importantly stuck to our structures in the first half, and it kind of carried through. So, you know, we're proud of the effort that we've put over the last 3 days, and we can reflect back and be proud of the effort that we've improved every game. So full credit to the classy Australian team, led well by my good mate Nick Good over there. But it's a positive sign for the next couple of years, and hopefully our group of boys can stay together and improve.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's in a rebuilding phase, but they're all about every year now. There's going to be a Trans Tasman between New Zealand and Australia, and you still want to win those. But the big prize at the end of the day is Malaysia World Cup. How's that sound?
Yeah, it's an exciting prospect to think in 3 years. Like I said, if we could stay together, the core group of this group could stay together. It's really looking promising. But you know, don't get me wrong. I think we're a good chance of winning next year. We've proved in the last 3 days that we've steadily improved, and it's a case of we don't want to be taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. If we get more new players next year, we've got to build on the group of boys that we have now. And the big thing for that is, can the boys afford it? It comes down to we love this game, very passionate about the game, and obviously user pays. But look, it's exciting times. I walk away from this campaign really proud and really looking forward to the future.
Yeah, and we talk about the passion out there. It was a great game, great passion, and we mentioned in the commentary box about, in the normal game of touch, where you play any level below New Zealand, touch is a touch, minimal force. But out there's a lot of passion. The touch is a push. So we like that as spectators. We like the passion. We like to see the little argy-bargy stuff. It adds another dimension to the game. How does it feel, though?
Yeah, it's good. It's give and take, and the good thing, with the Aussie boys, you give it to each other, a bit of banter, a bit of barking on the field, and a good physical touch. But afterwards, it's a handshake and a look in the eye, and a good on you, mate. So it's a fierce rivalry, but it's also camaraderie off the field, and wouldn't have it any other way. Aussie New Zealand battles, whether it's touch, rugby league, she's going to be a good battle. But full respect to Nick Good and his boys, and to Trady and the game plan that they've put together.
Yeah, and true Anzac spirit, out on the field, you battle hard, but when you're off the field, you're friends and friends to the bitter end, and support each other. So thank you, Mr. Graham. I'm going to go over to Nick Good and hear what he has to say about that game out there. Thank you very much. All the best. Nick Good, you join you once again. You've actually got your breath back this time, mate. Every time I talk to you, you're all gasping for breath because you work so hard out there. Did you not work hard, or what's the story?
Nah, it's just so fast out there. Hey, it's credit to the New Zealand boys. They're fast, they're fit, and like Mitty just said, mate, they're young and they're only going to get better.
Were you in a bit of that hustle and tussle? I saw a lot of that on TV as we were commentating. Were you in there?
Nah, I'm lucky I wasn't. I'm not too big, but Mate, I couldn't have said it any better. Mitter's a very classy man and we respect him and his boys. And the best thing about it now is that we've played our series. We all look forward to catching up with each other in a bit. We all have that same passion for the one sport. And like Mitter said, it's hard out there and I wouldn't change it. I know my boys wouldn't change it and neither would Mitter and his boys. So that's the way we like to play tough and it's fair. And after the game, we're all men.
Yeah, and I'll just finish on one thing. Tony Trad doesn't like tries being scored on you guys. New Zealand got 5, you guys got 9. What do you have to say at the end of the game?
Yeah, that's exactly the Tony Trad we know, mate. But, you know, Traddy has a lot of respect for New Zealand and to keep them to 5, I think, is a very good effort. They're sharp on their feet. They're a good attacking team. It's what New Zealand's known for and renowned for, really. So I think 5 over 40 minutes, I would give us a tick. And that's what he just said. This is a new New Zealand team. They're fast, they're fit, they're young. So you've got to expect the unexpected when you're versing them. And 5's probably a tick mark.
Awesome. Nick, good. You talked about yesterday when you won the second test series, you were going to have a refreshment that night. It obviously went down well. You're going to have an opportunity to have another refreshment. You're going to get a pat on the back. 3-0 in the test series. Congratulations, mate. Enjoy it. You'll take the silverware home. We'll be going to those guys on TV and seeing what's happening with the presentations. But on that note, Nick, good. Congratulations. You want to say a final word?
Yeah. I just... From the whole Australian contingent, we want to thank Touch New Zealand for the tournament they've put on. We come out here, they look after us, they make us feel like professionals, and from myself, my team and the entire contingent, we really do want to thank Touch Football New Zealand for the show that they've given us over the last 4 days.
Oh, well spoken. True professional himself, a true leader. Great words. I'm going to take some notes down on how well you speak and put it in the back foot for if I'm a captain of a team and I can use those ones as well.
Thanks,
all the best. Enjoy, mate. That's George signing out from the captains of the New Zealand Australian Open men's team. We're going to take it live to the presentations of the Trans Tasman series and we'll leave it with the CEO boys at the moment and the TV coverage. I'm signing out. George, Touch, what a game.
This way? Yeah. So as we make our way back to the fields with the successful Australian contingent, just milling ready for the presentation ceremony, the official presentation ceremony with the VIPs and dignitaries, respective CEOs and the Secretary General of the Federation of International Touch, Bill Kerr. Shortly, it'll be a very, very happy contingent. Steve, talk us through it. You've been through a number of these campaigns. It's been a long time since I was involved, but it's a great spirit in the Australian camp, isn't it, that emerges from wins like this?
Yeah, certainly. As I said, the hashtag for this tour was one team, and they certainly are that right now. All out there on the field together, waiting to get the gold medals. And credit to the New Zealand teams too, the fact that they're paying the respect and they're hanging around. And as we heard Mitter and Nick Good talk about after their game was, you know, that there's a fierce rivalry on the field, but that's just because they're passionate for their colours. And when we come off the field, we're all friends and catch up a bit later, probably for 1 or 2 beverages.
I think that's the wonderful spirit of this and the series. Certainly, Steve. I think it is absolutely willing on the field and certainly off. It's a terrific spirit around our Australasian combination, and the spirit of Anzac runs very, very deep. And certainly these contests, you know, bring out the best of the play on and off the field. So yeah, it's great to have you, Steve. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're going to make your way down to the Australian camp, and wish them the best and congratulations. And it's been awesome having you, mate, and
Thank
your
you
insight as we swing to all the best, mate, and see you at the airport, mate.
Yeah, go home, pack my bag. No, thank you for having me, and it's been great. It's been a bit of a different perspective from what I'm used to, and I probably would prefer to be out there, but as we could see from the talent put on display, it's probably for the best that I stepped aside.
Well, I think the viewers have been well appreciated your insights, and certainly George and Pete Walters and Phoenix previously. It's been really terrific to join with them here at the Trust Arena, and the presentation ceremony almost to get underway.
Okay, let's get this presentation underway. Sorry guys, somebody turned off the mic.
So at the presentation ceremony, here we have Cole Maguire, the Touch Football Australia CEO on the right, and in the middle, of course, Touch New Zealand CEO Joe Sprengers, and Bill Kerr on the left, the Secretary General of the Federation of International Touch. And it's
Okay, just take this opportunity to introduce our official party representing the Federation of International Touch. We have the Secretary General, Mr. Bill Kerr, our visitor from Australia, Australian CEO, Mr. Cole Maguire, and Touch New Zealand CEO, Mr. Joe Sprengers. Okay, let's get our presentations underway. Moving along for the open mixed. As with all grades, an absolute clean sweep to Australia, 3-zip, but we did close it up a little bit. I'd ask the New Zealand open mixed captain to come forward and say a few words, please.
Kia ora whānau. I'd just like to thank all the organisers who made this event possible. To my players, this series, we were quite the unknown. We had 11 debutants and deputies, and I think they did their whānaus, their families and friends proud. I hope you hold your head high. The future looks bright in New Zealand, as I think, and thank you to Cam and your team for always showing us the level that we need to strive to get to. I don't think we're too far away, and with a lot of these young players coming through in the future, hopefully we can, get one on you. But cheers, thank you to all our family and the supporters who turned out today. We did it for you guys, and hopefully we'll get one back next time. Kia ora.
Cool, thanks very much. And we'll get the Australian open mixed captain to come forward, say a few words, and get the trophy presented by FIT Secretary General, Mr. Bill Kerr.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank Touch Football New Zealand for hosting a fantastic event. All of the organisers made sure everything ran quite smoothly, and so big thanks to you. New Zealand, between all three games, there was only one try that separated us. We went into half-time level pegging every time, and your team and our team had a large number of debutants. So to back up what Woody said, the future does look bright for you guys. I think we've got a bright future as well. So as we lead into the World Cup, look forward to the many challenges ahead. Touch Football Australia, thank you for putting this all together and getting us over here. Our coaching staff, tons of work goes into getting us in shape and mapping out a game plan. So thank you for the many hours that you put in. The team, terrific job, a lot of heart, and I'm so super proud of you guys. To Big Tuma, love you, son. Congratulations on a fantastic career at this level. Cheers. So I just will call up our players one by one. First off, Leah Opie-Lukens. Elin Mortimer. Catherine Stevens. Patricia Michalopoulos.
Outstanding series.
Zara
of the young
Nicholas.
ladies here, making their way to the front of the line, receiving
Paige
their awards, their medals, and the title of the Trans Tasman Series 3 tests to 0.
Dylan Thompson. Adam Try.
Presenting the awards today, we have Bill Kerr, who's the FIT president, representing the rest of the world and the big boss as we have it. To his left, we have Joe Sprangers, who's the current Touch NZ CEO, and further to the left, we have Con Maguire, who will be the very happy Australian CEO.
Simon Lang. Coaching staff, Justin Crichton. Dave Nolan. Mark Harrington. And Coach Michael Lovett. Lucky last, the retiree, Trent Tuma.
And a big round of applause for Trent Tuma. He's been a pivotal man in the teams for Australia over the many years. He's decided to take one more tile, a sculpt on New Zealand home soil. Last time he was here, unfortunately, Australia went down to New Zealand. There we have it, Ian Mill announcing the champions of champions, Trans Tasman Sandwich Series winners, Australia Open Mix.
Okay, not wishing to hurry, but because they are on a bit of a time restraint, we'll just take this opportunity to acknowledge all our referees and present them with their medallions for this particular tournament. So for the Open Mixed, could we have Mr. Kim Skelly, Mr. Brent Freshwater, and Mr. Cameron McDonald Peterson, please. Once again, medallions presented by Secretary General FIT, Mr. Bill Kerr. And for our Open Women referees, Mr. Bernie Schrader, Mr. Tony Arnell, and Alicia Ruwaiti.
Once again, we have to give acknowledgement to the referees. Without them, we couldn't have such a marvellous Trans Tasman series. They've done themselves proud, they've done their country proud. These are the 9 best referees currently within the system, and they did well on the field. If we look back on the replays, I think everyone will be happy. Minimal mistakes, if any. So here we have the top 3 referees in the world getting their awards now. Matt Baggio and Maya Williams.
So we have Mr. Ian Matthews, Mr. Dave Field, Mr. Stu McDonald, and the chairman of the referee panel, Mr. Darren Sykes.
And these 4 people are the people that make these referees perform so well. They got busy nights. They go back and look at all the footage, seeing how things are going, making sure that the referee's up to scratch, looking at interpretation of the rules, because obviously 2 countries have 2 different themes and sort of weave the way throughout the game with different understanding of the rules. These are the guys that make sure they're all on the same page and they're up to all hours of the morning, making sure we all get it right.
The Trans Tasman referees panel, can I thank the 9 referees that have come from New Zealand and Australia to officiate today. like the players and team officials, their volunteers, they've given their last 5 or 6 days to be here to support this Trans Tasman event. Can we also thank the support crew from Touch New Zealand that have helped with the referee logistics, Sandy, Vanessa, Claire, and particularly the physio for the contingent, Greg Knight. Thank you to the referee coaches, Stu, Dave and Maddo, who've been outstanding. And finally, thanks to the chief executives for TFA and Touch New Zealand, Cole and Joe, for their continued support for elite referee development in both countries. The referees panel have reviewed the referee performances this afternoon after the last test, and we're pleased to announce that the leading referee for the 2016 Open Trans Tasman is Dave Baggio.
There we have it, folks. Winning the Trans Tasman Australia, and also in the proceedings we had the #1 ranking for the referees, taking the title this year as #1 for the Trans Tasman series, Dave Baggio from Australia. And as we can see, Dave Baggio coming into shot now, shaking the hands of our esteemed leaders. He'll be feeling very honoured. As history shows, as far as I'm aware, over the last 5 years, the #1 ranking has gone to Maya Williams. So for the first time, Australia has taken the title of the #1 referee at the Trans Tasman event for many years.
Okay, moving on to the women's grade. Could we get the New Zealand women's captain to come up and say a few words, please?
Next up, we have Jean Marsh representing the New Zealand Open Women's.
I just want to thank the people behind the scenes that make series like this even doable. I mean, the signs don't grow in the grass, so someone's got to go around and put those up and pull those down. Scores don't miraculously shine on the board. Someone's doing that in the background. So to those people that make the tournaments doable, we thank you guys. To our referees, obviously we can't play without you guys, even though some of us think we can. Without you guys out there controlling the game, we can't do what we want to do out here. To the Australian Open Women's team, like we said in the 2 huddles, you set the benchmark and continue to do that. We thank you for giving us the work rate that we need to strive for, and we will continue to do what we need to do to get there. To our girls, again, we're a young bunch of ladies, well, you guys are, and we will go away and we'll remember some of the good things. We'll probably just leave the bad things back here. But we'll grow as a unit, and like we said, we've got a plan in place, and it's a 4-year cycle, and this is the beginning of our cycle. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, for the Open Women's game, once again, a complete 3 games out of 3. What more can you say? Could we get the Australian Open Women's captain to come up and say a few words, please?
Hi guys, just wanted to say a big thank you to firstly Touch New Zealand for a great series and putting on the welcome that you did on Wednesday night. I know the whole Australian contingent really enjoyed that, and it was a great way to start off the week. To our referees and everybody else that makes this possible, thank you. To the New Zealand girls, we've said a lot in our little huddles that we had, but you guys kept grinding away at us, and the scores didn't reflect how hard we had to work to beat you guys, and the next 4 years is going to be really tough for us, and we're going to go back and make sure that we keep growing and trying to hopefully stay on top. To my girls, thank you so much for all the heart that you put in, and our coaching staff for giving us the opportunities and doing all the hard work to give us what we could, and yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to introduce the Australian Women's Open team. First we have Hayley Skinny-Maddock, Mia Johnson, Shelley Davis, Kimmy Susi, Ash Carney, Hannah Dyball, Taylor Clifford, Danny Davis, Mariki Wadago, Yasmin Meeks, Leah Percy, Emma Sykes, Sammy Rogers, Laura Peedy, Sammy Hopkin, and our wonderful manager Kim Solomon, and our fantastic coaching staff that gave us everything that they could, Mick Musa, Craig Combat, I'm having a mind blank, Morrow, no one uses that name anyway, and Swain Ravelli.
And we'll get the Australian captain to pick up the plaque on behalf of the rest of the team. Once again, 2016 Open Women's champions with once again 3 out of 3 complete swap or complete set. Australia!
Well, there's the Australian Women's Open team. Quite a phenomenal success story. These girls are, you know, they carry on a very, very long tradition of success, you know, from way back the early 80s when the first tests were conducted. It's only dropped a couple of games in history, and it's certainly the baton has been handed over to a very accomplished group. They're an amazing group of young girls, but I think that's really the thing with this crew, is that they're very young, and it's even the senior members are young, so it's actually holds them in very, very good stead in terms of World Cup cycle, and same can be said around the men's, and some transition probably in the mixed team with some retirements now, but the retirements in the men's team certainly were conducted last year. But whilst we look at, you know, all the selfies and the congratulations to the Aussies, again, can't ignore the fact at all that New Zealand have been very, very brave and courageous, and whilst it looks like it's a clean sweep.
Successful event, so thanks for that. And also to FIT and Touch Football Australia. I also just want to acknowledge the Japanese crew that came over. I really, really hope that they can continue to be with us for the next couple of years. They're a promising country, and, you know, I think, you know, and at World Cup year, it'd be awesome to think that it wouldn't be a certainty of New Zealand-Australia final. How exciting would it be that we had to work in a semi-final versus the Japanese or South Africans. So I just want to acknowledge them and wish them a safe trip home. Trady and the Aussie boys, congratulations. Thoroughly deserve your win. This series, you've proven you're a class outfit, and I know you've blooded a few boys, a few Kiwi boys this year, but nonetheless, you thoroughly deserve your win. Just to my mate, Nick Good, congratulations on your captaincy, leading your boys for the first time. I know it'll be a proud moment for you and your family, and I thought you did an extremely well job, so be proud of what you've done, and looking forward to battling it out over the next couple of years. And we've talked about the 3-year cycle, but we look forward to next year coming over and giving it a good nudge. But enjoy your night, boys, and enjoy the gold medal, and we back to battle next year, so catch up later on. Just to our families and our partners, we sacrificed a lot to be here, not only financially but time and training, so thank you for allowing us to do what we do and what we love, which is the game of touch. Also just want to acknowledge our management and coaching staff, especially our manager Tony Wall, who's the most selfless person in our team. We really appreciate everything you do for us, Tony, from our washing to our lunch. I'd actually like to take you, come do my washing at home, because my partner's not too good. But thank you very much. And just to our coaches as well, thank you very much. We really appreciate everything you do. To the brothers, keep our heads high. Really proud of our efforts, and we can be proud of the fact that every game we got better and better. And it'd be awesome to think that we can stay together for the next couple of years to just keep continuously improving. We need more time together. We need more time against the Aussie boys to really give them a good crack. So enjoy our night and be safe. Just lastly, seen it over the last couple of days, our past boys, Naza Silbury, Huge Hippie, Bruce Kake. When we wear the singlet, we represent not only our families, but especially our past players. Bros for life, and taua taua, kia ora tātou.
Some great words there by Mr. Graham. I'm not too sure if his lovely partner Holly Gray will agree with about 10 seconds of that speech, but every other word was well said.
Yeah, absolutely terrific. They're really, really well spoken. Mr. Graham, a real credit to your country, great leader, and a sensational courtesy afforded to the Australians and the international community. As we hear from Nick Good.
Collectively, you guys have all done your job to a very high standard this week. So from the Australian Men's, we say thank you. To Touch Football Australia, the staff from Colm all the way down. We get over here, we play in the 3 games, but they put so much time and effort into this. And like all us players keep saying, we will always say thank you because we really do appreciate the hard work and the long days you guys do. To our coaching staff, Traddy, Phil, and Svizzy, and our manager Hazy, you guys prove year after year why you guys are the best in the game. We have a lot of skill out the players, but especially Traddy and his 2 assistants do a lot of work, and they sort of combine all that skill together to form a team, and it's what we always want to be based on, that teamwork, that ethic, that no one's above the culture, and we'll always stand together as one. To Mitta and his boys, what can I say? You guys are very fast. You guys are fit, and both second half in the second and third games, you guys actually won them. So great. It's great to see you guys will move forward. We have no doubt next year you guys will be even better, and we really hope that you guys keep the same core together and continue through to Malaysia, because the men's scene's only going to get harder, and we want to continually challenge ourselves against you guys. So thank you.
Equally answered with a great speech there by Nick Good. He's all good when it comes to getting the words
Daniel
out of his mouth.
Yeah, certainly with Nick, you know, carrying over from a great leader in Steve Roberts previously, and a real conga line of great leaders for Australia in previous campaigns as captains. It's a great bunch of guys actually off the field. They're a terrific bunch. They're very, very courteous and understand their place very well, and really terrific ambassadors actually for not only Australia but for their sport internationally. And I can tell you it's with great pride they're receiving these medals now on foreign soil. They've got deep, great respect for New Zealand, and they love this country too, as we all do. We've had an absolute ball here. You've got a wonderful country and people, and you should be very proud, and you know, we certainly can't wait to get back here again.
Oh, Julian, nice words. I think in particular this win, this Trans Tasman win, and this medal, this trophy will mean a lot more to Australia, because the last time they were on this ground, they went home with a bit of heartache. New Zealand taking the Trans Tasman title in the Open Series, and also taking the title in the Masters Series, taking the overall Super Trans Tasman and keeping it within New Zealand for the first time. It was an amazing feeling for the New Zealand people. The Touch Blacks out there wanted to maintain that this time round on home soil, but unfortunately the Australians were too good, and they come with a purpose. And Peter Norman was one of the ones in the past that were there, and I knew he was feeling it and wanted to show his goods, and he did perform out there today.
Yeah, he certainly did. 4 try scorer in the World Cup final. His performances at the Elite 8 level.
Okay, it's becoming a bit of a habit, but 2016 Trans Tasman Touch.
Certainly Pete Norman is certainly is the 4 try scorer at the World Cup final, and he's really emerged in recent years. He comes from good stock. Both his mum and dad representing Australia. Greg and Kerry Norman, real legends of the game. Certainly Kerry, long established Australian women's player and captain.
And coach.
And coach, indeed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of caps. I don't think that she's been pipped in terms of the amount of caps for Australia. Kerry and lovely people, as you'd know, if you met them. And, you know, it's been a really good touring party over here. They've all enjoyed their time here. And, as I say, it's real emergence of these Aussies, and they're going to have a ball here today, just soaking in the atmosphere and celebrating with the team and the New Zealand team too, and quite rightly.
Oh, very good, Julian. They'll be celebrating now. That's the second title that they're taking away there with the Trans Tasman. I think we just got to leave it to the women's for the third one.
Yep.
Or have they been through already while I was out and about?
That's it.
That's it. There we go. The 3 test series between the men's, women's and mixed have been taken by the Australian teams. Let's go over to the CEO from Touch New Zealand saying a few words.
And you've given the rest of the world something to aspire to. And yeah, absolutely congratulations, and it's well deserved. So safe travels home. Thank you so much. To the New Zealand contingent, yeah, I know it hurts, but you wouldn't be human if it didn't. We're immensely proud of the effort you've put in and what we've achieved here. The captains have said on a number of occasions it's the start of a 4-year program. We took the opportunity to blood 27 players in this test series, because if we didn't start with a clean slate, we'd just be doing the same old stuff we've done in the past. So you guys are the future. We're looking for you to stick with us, and we hope that you're able to do that. So we're immensely proud of what you've achieved. Congratulations, and we'll have another chat with you all upstairs shortly. So again, New Zealand contingent, awesome. Thank you so much. Well done.
Yeah, some nice words there again by Joe Sprangers, saying it how it is for New Zealand.
Reasons, but again, thanks for your efforts, the referees advisory panel that we put together, both TFA and Touch NZ, and all the referees. Great effort out there, and we appreciate your efforts, so that's been awesome. Aside from that, and most importantly, probably all the people that put the tournament together, all our staff, all our volunteers, obviously Ian, and recognise him as his last tournament as Touch NZ Director of Tournaments, so I don't get that wrong again. Great job, guys. Awesome event, awesome function on the first night where we all got together and had the social function. We look forward, going forward, we look forward to seeing everybody back here in 2017 for Youth Trans Tasman, and then we'll be in Australia for the Opens again where we get another go. So plenty of hard work between now and then. Congratulations to everyone, safe travels home, and thank you for all your efforts. And if I could call, I'll move over here actually. So we have a presentation for, I'll start with Cole. Thank you, Cole, awesome. And it's cool. And there's a one here for Bill as well. So cool. Thank you, Bill. Okay, if I could ask Cole.
Doing some presentations for recognition of their work and their contributions to Trans Tasman. Joe hands over some plaques to Bill Curl from FIT and CEO from Australia, Cole.
Trans Tasman series on a regular basis. And one of the fantastic things that you see on every
from the CEO of Australia
is that although we all have people that leave our program, we always have wonderful people that come through the base, and that's a testament to the work that everyone's doing, whether it's the families that are supporting the athletes, whether it's the affiliates and clubs that they play at, the coaches, the staff, or their teammates around them. What we have in front of us are some genuinely outstanding athletes. To New Zealand, commiserations on the losses this series. As with every Trans Tasman, it's always incredibly tight. I'm sure any of those games could have gone any way. To the Australian contingent, we're extremely proud of the athletes that we have in our program. We're even more proud of the coaches and support staff that we have. I thank each and every one of you for the effort that you've put in this week, and I thank all the families for the support that you've given our athletes to be here over the last 7 days. Finally, to our referees and referee coaches, thank you for the effort that you put in. We know that you work just as hard, and certainly we are very, very proud of the fact that you represent our nations. I know that you do a job of true independence when you're here, but you're every part representatives of your country, whether that be New Zealand or Australia, so congratulations to each and every one of you. And finally, we've just got a small token of appreciation for you, Ian. For those that aren't aware, Ian's been volunteering for Touch New Zealand for an extremely long time. Since we started in the Trans Tasman series, you've also been integral in our family, and I know that the welcome that we received this week from the New Zealand contingent and the New Zealand family has always been something that you've given to us as well, and you're very much a part of the extended Touch football family. So we appreciate all the effort that you and Sawyer put in for New Zealand, but for the sport in general. So thank you very much. And a small token of appreciation for Joe as well.
Okay, and just to wrap it up, I want to ask Bill to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. This is like George following the band the other night. Everything's almost been said. But I would like to say congratulations to New Zealand for hosting such a magnificent event, to Ian and all your ground staff, Pam, and the administration. Thank you for making sure the tournament ran the way it should. To the athletes, wow. I said on the night of the dinner that the best was yet to come, and it sure was. What a magnificent sport where we can all sit together at a dinner table and socialise and then come out and compete so fiercely against each other. I think that's one of the highlights of this magnificent game. Lastly, I wish everyone a safe journey, and to all the spectators who came and watched this event, thank you so much for your support.
Okay, just call up Mr. Joe Sprangers if you'd present.
Represented here for the FIT Challenge Trans Tasman Series here in Auckland, Trust Arena, Henderson, New Zealand.
Oh, sorry. Okay, could we have the three captains come forward, please?
What a legend this guy
Australian
is,
captains.
Ian Milne and Soira, his wife. We're very, very fond of both of them, working very closely with our team at the World Cup. And Trans Tasman's previously, he's going to certainly be missed from New Zealand in that tournament management capacity, but we'll certainly be looking to invite him and Soira, I'm sure, to events in the future, because they're just such solid gold touch football community.
And 2016 overall Trans Tasman Test Series winners.
And we're taking it back to the winners
Australia.
of the Trans Tasman Series. Open men's, open mixed, open women's, overall Trans Tasman title winners, Australia.
Look, it's a very, very proud moment, and look at really significant too that there's three brand new captains. That shows that the program is certainly working, you know, and it's a replenishment of people and leaders, and certainly that holds Australia in good stead. But massive change in the guard with Louise Winchester and Steve and others retiring. Of course, Kylie Hilda from the mixed team, but they've done exceptionally well, and this will be a very proud moment for them right now.
Yeah, Julian, full credit to all the systems that you have in place. You've obviously done your homework, led a lot of new players through, and coming to this Trans Tasman this year with, I think it was about 18 debutants or something like that, New Zealand having 27. It was always going to be the stars of the future, and didn't they do well out there for both New Zealand and Australia?
Yeah, a very special moment for these guys. This means a lot to Australians to hear their anthem in another country. Very proud, significant moment, and they'll relish this and certainly treasure it. And certainly, but in the same token, great respect for New Zealand and the emergence of them in their development and progression. There is no question there is incredible talent in this country, and they're going to be amazing foes. Collectively in years to come, as we've always seen in the past, will be the same in the future.
What a moment, what a photo. Australia, #1 in the Trans Tasman Series 2016. It's been a privilege to be on your side, Julian. You've taught me a lot of things. You're great on the mic here, and you've done your country proud with the commentary here today. New Zealand fans, New Zealand spectators, and all people from around the world will enjoy your presentation. I've also had some feedback from USA sending in texts on how well you've been doing and how well you've represented the country. To OJ and the crew, I'll pass those props on to the commentary team.
Oh, that's wonderful, George. It's a true pleasure, mate, as I say, and yeah, very, very much appreciate the opportunity to do this. It's terrific, and I think this is exactly what we say. The Anzac spirit is alive and well, and we've had a lot of fun, and I've certainly enjoyed this, and having time with your viewers, and hopefully too that you know, we get to do it again soon. Absolutely, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you again, George, and all the team at Touch New Zealand.
Okay, signing out for 2016 Trans Tasman. We're going to be wrapping it up. Thanks to Julian, Phoenix, Jason, Peter, Walters, Mr. Touch, and myself. All the best to everyone, and we'll be back next year with another exciting time when New Zealand take on Australia for 2017 Trans Tasman.